Hello everybody and welcome! My name is HUZZAH and this is Civilization 6 Every Click Explained. This is going to be an incredibly long form video where I, HUZZAH, teach you, the audience, to play and beat Deity Civilization 6 by taking you through a game, showing you pretty much every single click I make. The aim of this is not to make a condensed, entertaining video. Today we are going to be making a very long form, very highly explained, but also entertaining video. Civilization 6 has not been this popular for some time. The player counts are up. There are so many new players because of the amount of sales that have been on. Everyone has the DLC now. The game's been given away literally for free. So in 2025, I thought this would be a good time to check in and make sure that everyone that's new to the game knows how to beat Deity. And everybody that's experienced, everybody that owns this game, maybe has hundreds, if not thousands of hours. Well, I want you to watch this video as well to also learn from me. There's probably things in my play that you didn't know. And if there's anything that I don't go through in this series, in the comments, please let us know. Share your wisdom. This video is intended to be encyclopedic. To that extent, I will be explaining pretty much every click I make. We will be editing this video, we will be taking out the gaps, there will be cuts, there will be skips, but the intention is that you know exactly what I'm doing at all times. Because of that, I would hugely encourage you to use the timestamps in the description of the video to skip forward where you want to the bits that are relevant to you. And as a reminder, as the lovely little animation has been showing you on the screen at the moment, look at it, it's so cute. I would highly encourage you to come along to Discord if you want to see any of the user interface mods that I'm using in these series, or if you want to play on this save file so you can literally play alongside me. Get yourselves relaxed and comfortable, grab some tea, grab a cup of crisps, let's get going. Today, I'm going to be taking you through Deity Science Victory, and we're going to do that by creating a game with a leader that does work with science, but also has a couple of other abilities as well. Today, we're going to be playing as Arabia, specifically as Visor Saladin Arabia. This is the version of Arabia that was launched pretty much at the beginning of the game. Arabia is a weird mix of faith, culture, and science. Science being important, and I wanted to show you how to beat the game using somebody that does utilize faith. A lot of the guides I've done before have ignored religion entirely, and I think whilst that's a very good mechanic, religion is an important and useful mechanism that we don't want to ignore entirely. But they have some interesting abilities. Specifically, they claim a guaranteed great profit when the last one is available. So we will be going for a religion, and I'm going to be waiting for the last one today. We're not going to be rushing ahead and grabbing a profit. We're going to be dealing with what we are given. We can guarantee that we have a religion, but we don't have to waste production early game to rush holy sites and projects to make sure we guarantee it. We just stumble across one. We gain science for spreading our religion to other cities, although I have a slightly better use of my faith, I believe. The Mamluk is a strong knight that heals every turn, very good on the defense. The Madrasa is a university replacement that gives you faith based on the adjacency of the campus, and it's really good. And then Saladin's ability, Righteousness of the Faith, means that my worship building, so that's a pagoda, a cathedral, a synagogue, one of those, you can purchase them for just 1/10 of the usual cost, and if that building is in a city, it gains 10% extra science, faith, and culture. None of these abilities are insanely strong. If I wanted to show you a leader that was really geared towards a science victory, potentially we could have gone for somebody like Yonglei. He is rather wild. We could have gone for Tokugawa, Japan, any of the Koreas, potentially even somebody like the Netherlands, but no. Arabia is a little bit more balanced. Cranking the game up to Deity, we are going to play a continents and islands map because I think it's got a really good balance of all of the types. I'm going to leave all the game modes off. We're going to pick a small map, which is a regular 6-player map, and I'm going to leave most of the settings exactly the same to give you a bit of an authentic experience about how to play the game without really skewing the map in your favor. The only thing I'm going to do is move the start position to balance so we can guarantee that we have, well, a bit of a balanced start. Yeah, no, in fact, actually, I'm going to leave it like that. This is the game map and seed if you want them. So a lot of people haven't played Deity before because you're scared of Deity, and that's quite normal. Deity difficulty is a huge step up, even from Immortal, especially if you've been playing on Prince, king or emperor. Why is deity such a step up? Well, yes, the AI does have some pretty outrageous bonuses. Namely, the AI is working with, I believe, a 100% bonus to production and gold and a 40% bonus to science, faith, and culture. So the yield bonuses they get are huge. But the AI also gets huge advantages at the start of the game. Namely, they start with 2 extra settlers and a bunch of warriors. They even start with a couple of builders when the cities are settled. So not only have they got big bonuses to push through the tree with additional yields, but they can economically get off the ground way quicker than you can as well. So deity is this fiddly old thing where you kind of have to just accept you're going to be behind at the start of the game, but you know you will catch up by the end of the game. This start is all over the place. I like this. This is going to be a really good example of a start that's both really good and really bad in some ways. So again, Discord. So it's turn 1, and we have to decide where we are going to settle. You're looking for 2 things when you look to settle. You will know a lot of this already. You're looking for the yields and resources on the first ring of tiles around your city center, with an eye to see like what's on the second or third ring. Mainly it's the first ring that is really important to start with, but you're also looking for where the actual yields are going to be on the tile you're settling on. Plains hills are the best. A plains hill gives you an extra production. Any city center will have a minimum yield of 2 food and 1 production. If the resources and composition of the tile underneath it will give you more than that though, you keep it. So this plains hill, for instance, without the rainforest on it, it would be like this, a 1-2 tile, a 1 food, 2 production, which means if I settle on it, I will have a 2 food, 2 production capital, not if I settle down here, a 2 food, 1 production capital. However, there's also another option available to me right now. I could go and settle on the sugar. Now, why would I do that? Well, it would give me 4 food and 1 production. So I'd actually gain a 5 yield capital rather than a 4 yield, and I would immediately work the sugar underneath it, even though I have yet to obtain irrigation. That's quite fun. I do like that as an idea. Lots of sugar around me. So this is really good for trading with the AI to get some gold. We'll have 2 duplicate resources. There's some gypsum as well. Looks like we're not on a continent split. Lots and lots of fresh water. Settling on floodplains isn't ideal, but it does mean that maybe we can create a bit of an industrial setup later on. Now, I'm going to move my warrior 1 tile just to see what's going on. There is the continent split. So actually we do have a continent split. Interesting. Oh man, if only we were playing Spain, eh? But okay, this is interesting. It means certain wonders like Casa might be useful. That's the wonder that gives you more yields if you put a governor into a city that's on a different continent to your capital. If I was to settle there, then I would get the extra production. I could work the 2-2 tile, and I'd be quite near this banana tile, which is a 3-2. But I think I'm actually going to go down, settle on the floodplains. It will give me another era score, because if you settle on a floodplain, you get +1. Will give my capital a lot of food, and I can always work that tile anyway. There you go. Beautiful stuff. If you're new to the channel, by the way, yes, I do rename my cities. My wonderful channel supporters on Patreon and Coffee. It's a way that I can thank them. So eventually we are going to be given a great profit. We have to wait a significant amount of time. Oh no, this mod is on. So I was asked this in the last series. Why have you changed your great people screen? It was a total accident. I really don't like this screen. Hang on. There we go. So much better. As a reminder, you will see a lot of user interface mods in this game. I have a bunch of mods that show me different things and show me different mechanisms, especially if you're playing on console. You may note that my game looks a little bit different to yours, but I do not have any mods that change the actual gameplay. So you will be able to play the same game. Now, you can see that the game has allocated the 4 food sugar tile as the first one that it would like to work. Now, this is fine, but I need to decide whether or not I want to work this tile or the 2-2 tile. Currently, I have 3 production, which means the scout is going to take a long time to be built, and I would always advise building a scout to start with. However, I don't mind this, because if I was to force work this, you can see it would take a few turns off, but it would give me 1 turn. Okay, in this instance, it would only actually take 1 more turn for my city to gain a population, but it shaves 4 turns off the scout building. Okay, so I will work this one. Now, we don't need to rush astrology. We're going to get a great profit regardless. So instead, we look around the map. There are not many places that horses could spawn. Horses are the first strategic resource, and you may think, oh, horses are just going to be put randomly on the map. No, they can only be placed on flat grassland and plains, not floodplains. So if we have a quick look at this start, I search for floodplain, you'll see that they can't actually spawn on any of these tiles. In fact, if I also search for hills as well, you see there's also a lot of hills. So maybe there's one there, one there, one there. There's a few reasons that I would like to go for animal husbandry first. These tiles, the horses, they put a food in a production on a tile. So I want to know immediately where they are so I can go and settle by them. I also want to be within arm's reach of archery. Archer is the upgrade to the slinger. It's very powerful. It has a 2-tile range. And remember what I said about Deity. Deity will rush you with warriors if you have the displeasure of starting near them. So I'm going to be doing a thing called a Slinger Rush in order to get a little bit of a defense. And I want to just be within arm's reach of the archer, just in case I need to employ the defenses. So animal husbandry for me is a very good start. The warrior is going to be looking around, looking for, amongst other things, city-states. We've actually got a scientific city-state near us. This is a very good start for a science game. But I don't want to put the warrior too far away. The warrior is by far the most powerful unit that I have to defend compared to things like scouts or slingers. So the warrior is going to sort of be spiraling in a circle, always within a few tiles of returning to the capital in case we get attacked. Taruga has done a few things for me. It's the first meet, which means I get a 3 envoy. So I'm getting 1 science in the capital. That takes me from 2.5 to 3.5. And that shaves 2 turns of animal husbandry. Perfect. But it also does a few other things. It gives me an extra science in every library, which is a huge bonus for me. It sets me up to getting 2 science in the university, or in my case, not the university, the Theology Civic Unlocked Madrasa replacement for the university. This obtains more science from 3 envoys in Taruga. And if I was to have 3 envoys with them and claim the suzerainship, it would give me 5% extra science in all cities for each improved strategic resource they have. Now, looking at the hills, looking at the flatland, I hope that I will have at least science from horses or iron. I don't know, we might get one, we might get the other, we may not get any of them, but Taruga is a fantastic scientific first meet. I'm thinking maybe Geneva might be the only other one that would be better than that. And do you see the fact that I've just found culture on a tile? That means we are next to a natural wonder. If I was to have a look at the appeal lens, you can see there is a lot of appeal on this tile that sort of indicates there is also something here. Ah, that looks like it is a Paitati, potentially. But also, there is somebody just south of me. So, do you remember what I said about the AI wanting to spawn near you? Well, we have somebody very, very near us. This could be a little bit of a cursed start, given how close we are to people. We have gained our 2nd population. The game, again, really wants to work that sugar tile. I'm going to let it, but as you can see in 3 turns, I'm going to unlock this gypsum tile, which has 3 production and a gold. That will be better to work eventually, but we'll let that go naturally. The yields around this natural wonder are colossal, though. We would probably annoy the AI near it by settling near it, but 3 gold and 2 culture to adjacent tiles is a huge bonus. It's Canada. Panic over. Of all of the people to settle near, Canada is the best because Canada cannot declare a surprise war, which means as long as you're not denouncing them or they haven't denounced you, it is impossible to fight them. Honor to meet you. Love to sample your hospitality. Okay, that's pretty good. As neighbors go, that's a pretty good neighbor. But given the fact we know we have a neighbor directly to the south, I'm going to actually spend a little bit of time making sure we explore all of the land between us and them. This is what we call competed land. We're both going to want to settle this land. So I need to know all the best spots. I need to know where the horses spawn. I need to know where the luxuries are so that I can beeline them and grab that land as quickly as possible. Now, unfortunately, whilst my warrior was away, a barbarian scout has come along and found where I was. So we may have an attack from barbarians very soon, which is not great. So what I'm going to be doing is moving my warrior around, exploring this land and bringing my warrior back. But as we have now got to population, we now want to get a settler out as soon as possible. It's important that you go to 2 cities as quick as you can. It's really, really important that you do that. The quicker you get cities out, the quicker they grow, the quicker you can claim land. But the first settler is incredibly cheap, only 80 production. You want to be claiming that as soon as you can. Looks like I'm actually on the side of the continent and Samarkand. The first meet. How they didn't meet Canada before me, I don't know. I'm not going to complain. That gives me 2 gold in the capital and for every market or lighthouse building, which is a fantastic double combo. And we can now make trading domes, which increase the amount of gold for international trade routes. Now, already we have a synergy here because Paitati increases the amount of gold on international trade routes by +4. If I was to have a city that owns this wonder and then send trade routes from it, we'd have an incredible combo where we could put trading domes there and have really, really big international trade routes. So suddenly these tiles are looking very attractive attractive indeed. We'll see. It's probable that Canada will go and settle this, but we'll keep an eye out for it just in case. Now, they've left this tribal village alone. I'll claim that. And we've just been given a free recon unit. That's a pretty good pick for us. Matterhorn, a second natural wonder. Wow, what a start. This one, any land combat units who move next to Matterhorn ignore hills for the rest of the game and have +3 combat strength when fighting in hills. Again, a very strong defensive wonder, so that is really good. Well, I'm going to move both of my scouts next to it, and then I'll send one out to explore in the north, and we'll send another in the other direction. And again, this start, so far, it has giveth, it has not taketh. The city is now working that gypsum. That's absolutely fine. In a couple of turns, we'll gain another population, and we will be able to work the sugar. Talking of selling, now, my city has 2 amenities. There are several inflection points when it comes to happiness. If a city has 5 amenities or above, and that's the excess amenities, it needs some to exist, 1 based on its population at the moment, and I've got 3 going in, 2 from a palace and 1 from a luxury. 5+ means that I get 20% in every extra yield. If I'm between 3 and 4, I get 10% yields, and if I'm between 0 and 3, nothing happens at all. So being a +2 or +1 doesn't matter at all. To that extent, I'm going to keep an eye on the fact that I already have this improved sugar, and I'm going to see if Canada wants to buy it. If they want to buy it for a lot of gold, I'm thinking 8 gold per turn or above, then I will sell it to them, because the gold in the bank is way more important than having a yield that doesn't really do anything to me. There is the barbarian encampment. My warrior, I'm going to try and clear this. And this scout, this is an excuse to just level my scouts up a little bit. If you can get them to have a little bit of experience, they move across the map much quicker. Now, we have unlocked animal husbandry. It's worth just having a quick look. Strategic resources. Are there any sources of horse? Montreal has one, and there's one up here. Okay, we didn't really get very lucky. Never mind. My next step is to head along to get mining. Now, we need mining to put down both mines and quarries. I want one of those to unlock this gypsum, but also there is stone there that can be improved as well. After that point, we're going to go for pottery, because pottery starts to unlock several useful things. Irrigation will unlock the plantation for my sugar tiles. Writing will unlock the campus, which is the science district. Hint, this is going to be very important. If we go a little bit further, it also unlocks the commercial hub. We want to unlock the commercial hub as soon as possible, or the harbor. As a player, I don't mind between commercials and harbors. I actually prefer the harbor over the commercial hub. I know that's not strictly the meta, but the thing I like about the harbor is that the buildings in it improve yields in all of the other tiles around, whereas the commercial hub is just gold and nothing but gold. This is just a better all-round district. However, if you're landlocked, harbors are not going to be very useful for you, and it's a very landy start. So going mining into pottery and then working towards currency is a very handy thing to do indeed. The scout is not going to be able to defeat this spearman. In fact, actually, the spearman has the Matterhorn bonus as well, which is slightly worrying. So we'll move away, but as you can see, both our scouts now have alpine training. Samarkand are going to take care of this barbarian encampment for me. Love it. It means I'm not going to get era score from claiming it, but doesn't inherently matter because it won't spawn barbarians at me, and because of that, I haven't got to worry too much, although there is another barbarian scout that's found me from the north. Okay, Eleanor of Aquitaine of France, you can tell by the crown. She has found me. Now, I do not want to let her visit my nearby city. There's no point in doing this. It means that your capital is revealed to her. She gets that information, you get nothing back. I would rather just save the pleasantries, and it's just gonna maybe take one more turn for her to discover where on earth my capital is. It probably won't. But look, here we go. The scout is killed. There's one less barbarian on this map. We can breathe just a little safer. Now, a good plan never survives first contact with the enemy. By the enemy, I mean Canada. It doesn't matter where we plan on settling. Canada will probably ruin all of our plans immediately. However, as you can tell from this start, there is one huge advantage. Mountains. Mountains provide adjacency to campuses. Campuses gain adjacency from any adjacent mountain or reefs, government plazas, other districts, rainforest, and geothermal fissures, but mountains are the most reliable. This is a really, really good start if you're looking to put down lots of campuses. So, this land in the middle, we really do want to conquer. Capture it, protect it, stop ourselves from having to give it up. Any city can be built within 4 tiles, or 4 tiles minimum away from another city, so the capital means that that we can't put a city there, for instance. We have to go a little bit further out. So you look at the map in groups of 4. If I was to settle on this tile and gain the fresh water, I can't settle on this tile. But if I settle on this one, I can. So I'm going to start to use some pins. I'm going to try and put 2 cities there and there, claiming a lot of these mountains. I want to settle over in this direction as well. That will mean that I can settle on top of the diamonds, but also have all of these mountains adjacent. And I still want to go and settle here if I can for the wonder. Good thing about this settle as well is I will be claiming Matterhorn, stopping the Canadians from getting it as well. So I think this settle, and this settle are the 3 most important ones. We want to rush those as quickly as we can. To that extent, we need gold. The more gold we can get, the more we can look to instant purchase settlers and rush out our economic capacity as soon as we can. Okay, there's mining. That's really good. And we've unlocked our first choice of government as soon as Code of Laws finishes. It's important we claim a Pantheon as soon as we can. To get a Pantheon, we need 25 faith, and the only way we can claim faith in the early game is either to have luxuries that provide it. You can see from the map, there's nothing giving us faith, so that's not going to help, or to build a holy site. Now, if I was rushing a religion, building a holy site would be what I want to do. However, there's no point rushing a religion because we're Arabia, so we're waiting for everyone else to make them first. Therefore, to get my 25 faith, we need God King. Always put this in. This will help you to get your Pantheon nice and quickly. I'm then going to give myself survey until I have a barbarian problem. I've got 2 scouts. Claiming double experience from them just means that they will promote and stay alive just a little bit longer. There's a bit of a choice here. Either you go craftsmanship into state workforce or foreign trade into early empire, and it sort of depends on your start. If you want to rush traders, then you want to go foreign trade. There's an advantage to foreign trade. You can pull other people into your wars using joint wars. You can start trade routes, you can get more gold from your trade routes, and you can build naval units at double speed, which is an incredibly good card. Early empire then gives you a governor, forms a border around your land so people can't actually move into your land, but it also gives you colonization, which is 50% production towards settlers. However, state workforce is better because it unlocks the government plaza. We'll talk about the government plaza a little bit in a bit, but you want to build this as soon as possible. And Ilkham, 30% production towards builders, and Agogi, 50% production towards ancient and classical melee, anti-cav ranged units. This is normally better. I'm going to start with free trade or foreign trade because I think the trader would actually be pretty helpful for us, especially because there is a chance we can claim Paitati pretty quickly. So we'll unlock that trader as soon as we can. Now, double experience with my scouts means that you want to be using scouts to attack other scouts. That's 8 experience. It's almost leveled up immediately. And remember that my scouts ignore hills, so it's useful to just skip around, sticking to the hill tiles where you can. Canada has not closed their borders yet, so I'm going to just have a quick snoop around. They'll close them pretty quickly. They have a lot of culture per turn. The AI often does, but there's Ottawa. This is all really good visibility. I need to know where they are so we know where the loyalty's building up. We know where the threats are. Handy information indeed. So Eleanor of Aquitaine has found me now. I'm pretty sure she's just going to be slightly annoying and find wherever I go. So we'll keep an eye out to the border, but there's no immediate threat. I don't need to Slinger Rush right yet. I'm going to wait until the Agogi card if I can, because it makes the slingers a lot quicker. So what I'm going to do is pick up a builder. Now the builder lets me improve the gypsum to gain a little bit of extra production. We could also improve other bits and pieces, maybe this hill to gain some more production. We'll see what happens. But then I'm going to rush straight into another settler. I want to land grab as quickly as I can. The border with Canada, it looks like we're going to be able to basically trap them into a very small portion of the map. But Canada is all about the tundra. They will want to settle the tundra, but they will also settle upwards, especially if they think their land is going to be threatened. Now, we only have a minimum of 22 turns left in the ancient era. Ideally, we want to hit a golden age if we can. Golden ages are amazing. They give you huge benefits, and to do that, we need era score. Now, I have a handy mod that shows me how much era score you get from all of the different things in the game, but there's a few you need to know about. Firstly, splendid districts. If you make a campus with 3 or more adjacency, commercial hub with 4 or more, a harbor with 4 or more, or a holy site with 3 or more, you gain a huge wad of era score. That's all really good. You saw as well that I settled on a floodplain. That gave me era score. Settling near a world wonder is a huge one though. That's 4 era score. So if we settle within 2 tiles of the Matterhorn, aka here, that will gain us 4 era score. So we very much want to look to do that. Just remember, when barbarians are around the map, don't let your settlers go around unescorted. That's the sort of thing that I do, and I'm really silly. Don't copy me. So here are the 3 cities. Okay, we're going to move my scout now over to the left and round to see what the land round Paitati is. Kind of hoping that Eleanor and France aren't super close in the other direction. We want a bit of breathing room. And The game is sort of in, I would say, 3 phases of expansion. The ancient and classical, at least the first half of the classical era, is basically just initial expansion. You want to get to 4 cities as soon as you can. Then you consolidate and make a bit of industry. After that, you hit medieval and Renaissance. At that point, you want to then go back into settlers and settle to about 8 to 10 cities. Eventually, later into the game, you will industrialize with factories and coal power plants. Then you resettle and you go to about 20 cities as fast as you can. We don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of settlers, but we don't want to have none at all. You know what? I do want this sugar. The sugar will give me a huge economic bonus. You can see already the sugar is worth 115 gold on the market. That will only go up. That's a quarter of a settler. So I am going to just go into irrigation, unlock the plantation as soon as I can. That is boosted by farming a resource, for instance, like this wheat. So I could move the builder down and actually farm the wheat next to the Matterhorn. That would give me the boost. Let's try and do that. The idea is you never want to finish any tech or civic without getting the boost if you can humanly help it. This is an outrageously bad thing to happen, and is the problem about settling on a floodplain. Unfortunately, it has hit 2 tiles that I'm working, and I have lost 2 population. That is devastating. The good thing, though, is that it has just dropped a production on this tile and this tile, which means that in the long run, I now have a bit more production in the city. So that's good, but it's bad because it's wiped 2 population out. Ouch. I can't lie. That is a bad thing. That is not a good thing to happen at all. Oof. Scouts has found a slinger. Barbarian slingers are the worst. Namely, because they can attack you without taking any damage themselves. Now, Canada's got a slinger. They may actually want to go and fight these barbs, and I think I can just sort of move around and not get into a fight with them. I'm just going to try and dodge them rather than getting annoyingly, Samarkand has just moved their warrior into the wrong place. And the loyalty penalty. This is going to actually be a difficult city to hold because my capital has no population. It will recover the population. That loyalty will get better. Just keep that in mind. It's not good. Oh yeah, look, the price of that luxury is starting to go up now. Okay, they've moved back, which is good. Oh, there's a lot of units here now. I can't move my scout round. He will just get hit by 3 people. I'm just going to have to take this hit. The slinger's going to hit me too. I mean, I'll just escape into Canadian land, but there's a lot of barbarians around there. That's good. It means that Canada should actually get quite distracted by the fact there's a lot of barbarians approaching from a different direction. Now, it's worth having a look at the Empire lens every now and then. It's 9 on a keyboard, but you can actually find it down here. We can see what districts Canada's building. And you can actually see they're starting to build campuses. Nobody's got any campuses going at the moment, but if Canada is going for science, it's not a bad thing. If they ever lose a city to me and they build loads of campuses, well, that'll help me with my own science. Era score for finding the tribal village. We've got a boost to state workforce, build a district. Yeah, it's not the best one, but now I can get promoted. Don't go for Alpine. I already have 3 movement on hills. We're going to go for Ranger, which means basically, short of rivers, my scouts are now ignoring all terrain penalties. Okay, good. Right now, this scout can move away. Can move onto this hill and take the same promotion, Ranger, and we're going to go a different way. We're going to probably head up this way. That is not good at all. And as you can see, only -2 now because we've gained another population in the capital. So that's really good. More loyalty. Hong Kong, first meet again. What is the AI doing? Okay, this is brilliant. 1 production in the capital when producing wonders, buildings, and districts. Not things like builders or settlers. In the long run, very good. And 20% production towards city projects. A useless thing at the beginning of the game. Very good late stages of the game. I really need to find France. The fact that they're not here is worrying. The fact they also have a warrior on my border is incredibly concerning. It means Eleanor is probably looking to do an attack on me, which means we have to pivot very quickly into defense. Watch the warrior. If the warrior stays on the border and does nothing, it means the chances are she will want to attack. So I can't build the settler. We're gonna have to start spamming slingers. Now, foreign trade will finish soon. We'll get craftsmanship soon. This builder is gonna go and work this gypsum. Then I'm going to move it to my Matterhorn city, which has now been settled. We gained the era score from settling near it. You can see Matterhorn actually gives 1 culture to adjacent tiles, which is really tasty. Warrior, move back. I'm going to need you for defenses. Get a slinger going here. Now, Deity AI cheats. Okay, we know they start with a load of warriors, but it's worse than that. They actually start with combat bonus as well. +4 combat bonus when attacking or defending. In all situations, it means their warriors are better than my warriors. It's sucks, but it's just what it is. So we need to do everything we can to stop them. If Eleanor is going to attack me, I want to economically make sure that we ruin her day. So I'm going to look to sell her some sugar. Now, I'm going to get my sugar back in a second because we're going to get another source of it. But what I'm going to do is say, hey, Eleanor, you can have my sugar, but I want the gold up front. I want 109 gold. You can then have the sugar for 30 turns. If she declares war on me, she has to give the sugar back, but I don't give the gold back. So she will effectively surrender and say, you know what? I'm just forfeiting all of that gold in order to make this attack on you. So that's really good. We've now saved up a little bit more gold. We're closer to that 440 if we want to spam another settler out, but we also have the gold if we want to Slinger Rush to upgrade to archers. If I want to upgrade a slinger to an archer, it costs 60 gold. So I can have up to 5 slingers right now, and I would have the gold to convert and rescue all of them. Just keep it in mind, it's very handy. A France warrior. Is this a warrior on its way to attack me? I don't know. This is why exploring is really handy. And she literally just attacked. So this is the perfect scenario economically. She has declared a surprise war. She has forfeited all of that gold, and I now have my resources back. Okay, well, I mean, it's not ideal. It really isn't ideal because I am still at war. But at least I can economically sell my luxury to Canada now if I wanted. Canada doesn't have enough gold to be able to just buy something, which is annoying. Now, to attack me, I have a river defense. As I saw from before, the defending unit gets +5 combat strength if you're attacking over a river. So currently my city center wouldn't have 30 in defense, it would have 18. Unfortunately, the warrior has 24 attack, so it can still beat me. However, I can make my city center stronger by having a warrior in it. I will move 1 and 2 turns away, but then they'll have 2 attacks on me. I don't want them to attack a city whilst it's on low health. So unfortunately, that gold that I've just taken from Eleanor, or you know, a little bit more, I'm gonna buy a warrior. Now, this is economically gonna slow me down a little bit. But what it'll do is it'll increase my city defenses from 13 to 23, or 28 when defending across a river. That means that this one warrior will not now be able to take the city. They won't be strong enough. It's just not possible. The Slinger will obviously make things a little bit worse, but as this warrior comes back, it means suddenly I have a better defense. And this warrior is going to get bogged down and distracted by my scout, which is fine. I'm just going to grab this. A 3 builder unit. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, great. I'll send this one to my Matterhorn city. This will tank the hit, and then it will run away, and it'll just delay this warrior from reinforcing the fight. You can see if you just have a look at the loyalty lens, Canada is exerting loyalty over here and on me, but I can't see any cities to the north, so maybe France isn't that close. I don't know. Irrigation is now almost within the 40% boost range that taking a Eureka would give it. So we're now going to start to research archery. When I have my slingers ready, we can then upgrade to the archers and defend capably. So yep, look, they attacked, but only did 24 health, and my city center, that was really bad. I'll explain that in a bit. They did 24 damage, and then I healed 20 every turn. So really, my capital took almost no damage whatsoever. Now, unfortunately, the Slinger is now here, which means they can do uninterrupted damage back to me, but it's not too bad. We should be fine. Foreign trade means we can now declare joint wars, but we can also get other people to join in on the wars. So what I'm hoping is that Canada meets France very soon, and then I can diplomatically pull Canada into the war, which would be very helpful indeed. Until then, though, we will just have to wait. Now, survey is good, but I'm gonna now move to discipline so I fight against barbarians better. Unfortunately, it wasn't France's warrior that killed me. The barbarians chose to attack me and kill my scout, so I lost it that way, which wasn't ideal. There's the quarry. I boosted masonry, but I now have another luxury, which is just wonderful. We're on +3 immunity, so I now got 10% extra production. It's just a little bit, but it helps. This warrior is just gonna stay put for a second until I have enough power to counterattack. Let them wear their warrior's defenses away whilst my reinforcements arrive. Craftsmanship now. I want a Gogi. I need to get that as soon as possible. Okay, so they're moving their units around, which is quite sensible, but the Slinger has crossed over, which means they are getting defense from being on top of not only a hill, but also a rainforest. That's +6. They've now allowed themselves an opportunity to be attacked by 2 people. The city defenses will get a little bit weaker if the warrior inside gets damaged, but it is worth it to try and just knock this Slinger away as soon as possible. And I'm now going to trick it as well. I'm going to move the builder to this tile, which means France will go, oh, we can capture the builder by moving the Slinger. And what I'll do is then recapture with the warrior and kill it that way. It stops the Slinger from getting a hit on me. 1 turn and the Slinger there will be finished as well. So they've just sort of moved around. Okay, they didn't take the bait. Oh, but there was a scout there. We got totally duped. Ah, the old 1-2. That's not good. Now, this is another thing that AI does. They will not attack with a warrior that then kills the unit. This warrior has almost no health left, so it's not going to really attack me anymore. So I'm going to remove these warriors around, let the slinger move to this tile so that I can get a kill with the slinger, which then gets me the boost for archery. We'll build another one. We want to make sure that this slinger is finished before we finish archery. But then I'm just going to wait. You attack me. You waste all of your health. That's fine. And I'm just going to quickly buy this tile so that Gubaville has some food, but also then we can just quickly finish off irrigation. Oh, a settler. I'm just going to annoy it by just leaving my scout here. If they were looking to settle up in this direction, I don't want them to. I'm just going to wait annoyingly and block their movement where I can. So there you go. Look, silver is taking damage, but it's healing it relatively quickly as well. At the moment, this river crossing is relatively safe. I say relatively. Nothing is ever truly safe. It's just almost safe. Now it's heading this way. Maybe it's going to go and settle Paitati. I'm going to just, again, I'm just going to keep annoying it with my scout. Or actually, Barbs might do that for it. I'm going to hover around. There's a chance here that Canada do something really silly with their settler and get it killed by barbarians, which would be just amazing. Okay, this warrior is going to go onto defensive terrain. This one is just waiting there. I'm going to get a free hit him with the slinger. It'll probably counterattack me next turn, but it's 3 damage. Play defensive. You get defensive bonuses if they attack you on defendable terrain. If you attack somebody else, they get the bonuses. So this warrior, for instance, would be effectively -6 if it attacked, but +6 if it defended, which is a 12 combat swing. So you always want to be on the defensive where possible. Okay, the warrior attacked the city center. They could not help themselves. That is absolutely fine. We actually now have enough troops and their warriors are weak enough that I don't even need to defend the city center very well. I'm going to move this slinger out. You can cross the river in one movement because it comes from the city center. And I'm then going to switch the warrior and the slinger around. Now, the city center is a lot weaker, but now I can go 1 and then 2, kill the warrior, and they have isolated their units. They're going to be in a very weak position now. I think defendably, this is a really, really good position for us to be in. Like, we can defend this so much easier now. Knowing that Canada have thrown me out of their borders, which means they have discovered the tech. How much would it cost? 17 gold? I will buy it back just so that I can leave my scout in and stop them from settling. I am managing the pathways. Every time they go, oh, I want to head down this way, I block the route, and then they go, oh, I'll head this way instead, and then I move around and block it again. Well worth a scout there. Trade route overview. Available routes. How much gold are the routes available at the moment? 3 gold on a route to Montreal, which would put a road down here, which would actually be pretty handy for me. Or we could go 1 food and 1 production on an internal route. Now, Paitati would make those routes even better, but I don't have it just yet. What's better? Do I make the settler or do I make the trader? I think we just gamble on settling still. We'll get this as close as we can, try and get to 440 gold, and then print 2 settlers out to go 1-2, and then at least my southern border is secure. Canada, by the way, will give me probably about 200 gold if I sell all my luxuries. It would be expensive, but it is worth it to an extent. Absolutely. They couldn't help it. They attacked the city center whilst it was weak, but by doing that, they left an opportunity because now my slinger can go 1 attack and get a kill. I can use this warrior just to weaken that unit and then get a 2nd attack and get that kill. So, I mean, we're hugely beneficially defending now. That's amazing. That's really good. And now I'm going to move this warrior across so that next turn I can switch it back around and increase the defenses of my city. Archery obtained. Now we go writing into currency. And typically no one is going for profits just yet. This could be a game where the last profit literally is right at the end of the game. We shall see. Okay, this is a mine. That is my 3rd improvement. There is craftsmanship boosted. It is 8 turns for an archer. It is expensive. Do I want it? I think I do, but I could start to make a settler. You know what? Going in all on settlers. I would like 4 settlers as quickly as possible. Why? Well, all the luxuries I have apply to 4 cities. It's just a really nice number to get to the early stages of the game. You basically, early game Civ is a little like this. You just wait for as much time as you can, just using as much economic capacity as you can to settle, trying to ignore things like science, army, to the maximum degree before something snaps and your empire comes tumbling down. That's the balance that we've got right now. Oh, someone declared war on me, Taruga. That means that Eleanor has just suzerained it, which means that there are warriors over here that could attack me. That's not good. We'll keep an eye on that. Slinger, I can stay there and attack the warrior. You know what? You know what? I'm almost at a level, which means I can heal 50 health when I take the promotion. So, you know what? I'm going to be what I would call quite ballsy. We're going to actually counterattack and just take them really low on health. So if they do want to attack me, they're basically going to guarantee losing that unit. Now, state workforce to unlock the government plaza and a governor title. I would love to replace God King, but at the moment, I can't. I will put a Gogi in though. In case I need to make any more units, that speeds it up by 50%. Ah, look, the settler really wants to come through. Nope, I'm going to move to here, block the pass, and hopefully Canada will now try and settle somewhere else. They're just going to get really distracted. Oh, they moved away. What a shame. Oh, we didn't quite get the kill. There's the kill. So we've basically just nullified Eleanor's attack there. Peace. She won't want peace just for a little bit, but she's got almost less army than we do. I'm feeling relatively confident about this fight now. My slingers have 2 promotions. Defensively, I need one of them to have garrison. This is a huge attacking promotion. 10 extra combat strength when occupying either an improvement that provides defensive strength or a district. This is a district, my city center, so now it's attacking with 25 strength and not 15. However, I only have 1 district, so my second slinger will take volley, which is a smaller bonus, but it means it can stand anywhere, which is really good. I'm just moving my warriors out just a little bit so I can see. I need to know if I'm going to be forward settled again, or if there's another invasion army coming through. Like anything that would be bad, I need to know about urgently. I don't know where that settler has gone, but hopefully moving back here. There we go. We'll trick it again. It really wants to come through here. Do you see? So I'm now going to come back and say, nope, you can't. Pass is closed. Sorry, none for you today. You'll notice after unlocking archers, I haven't actually upgraded to them just yet. Reason being, it costs money, and unlike slingers that have a maintenance of absolutely nothing, archers have a maintenance cost of 1 gold per turn. So my 12 gold per turn would start to be eroded quite rapidly. Hold off upgrading for as long as you can. Ooh, big flood. This time though, no population loss, which is amazing. I'm just now going to put the plantation on this sugar, which gains me that extra luxury. I now have a duplicate, which means it's doing nothing for me. I want to sell it for 3 gold per turn. Are you kidding, Canada? Is that it? That is an atrocious deal. But yeah, apart from that being atrocious, means that the plantation is gaining a little bit more housing, so I can continue growing. I am at a housing cap at the moment, but 2 gold per turn, which is a huge economic boost. Lovely. Now we have writing currency. I will make a trade route relatively soon. We will gain that boost. There's another warrior. Okay, so it looks like Eleanor is sending another invasion force at me. They want 8 gold per turn for peace. It's not going to happen. I can drag this out as long as you want, but we'll keep an eye for that. Ah, do you see that change? 7 gold per turn now. Okay, this is a much better deal with Canada. I will claim, this is the thing, if you take gold per turn, you get a lot more gold overall. 30 gold, so 30 turns of 7 gold is 210 gold. You get about 2/3 of that if you get it up front, but if I get it up front, I can buy the settler. No, I'm going to take the economic benefit, 7 gold per turn. We're going to just do that because I can always trade gold per turn for gold if I want to rush it. So yeah, there we go. We've given that to Canada. We've now gained ourselves another 7 gold per turn. Here are the warriors. Okay, we have advance warning that they're coming. I'll bring my troops back. We'll set up the defenses again. I've unlocked the Pantheon. Thank goodness. Okay, Pantheons, you want to gain an economic bonus that is going to help you not only with the science victory later on, but also that gives you a bit of a benefit now. France has a lot of campuses. So does Canada. And 1, 2, 3 people have started making religious units now. Amazing. That's great. So religion will start to appear eventually. I could give myself holy site adjacency for rainforest. Now, I actually have quite a few rainforests around. If you have a look at this, it would mean that I could gain at least +3 or 4 holy sites around, which would be really quite decent. It would open up work ethic as a religious choice. There are certain religions we are not going to get. Feed the world, which gives us food and housing on our shrines and temples. Choral society, or choral music, which is culture. Or probably warrior monks is the other one that would get taken. But the 2 that I would probably have are either Jesuit education, which lets me spend my faith on science buildings, or work ethic, which the AI never picks, which is production equal to the adjacency. Now, it would help me with that, but I'll be honest with you, rainforest I normally get rid of. If you chop it out, you gain food and production. I normally just chop it away. I'm very bad at keeping it. I could go faith on quarries. I actually have like a couple of quarries around. I could go for a 3 builder in the capital. City growth rate is 10% higher as well. That means that instead of 7 food, I would have 7.7, so it just just makes your cities grow a little bit quicker. Not so good beginning of the game, very good end of the game. How much marsh is there? Lady of the Reeds and Marshes is always a favorite of mine. Not enough. Okay, that's fine. Won't get really Reeds and Marshes. God of Craftsmen, as you can see, there's barely any strategics around. We got like one source of horse. City Patron Goddess isn't bad as well. Production towards districts and cities without a specialty district. It means the first district you build is really cheap. I think for the long-term benefit, I will take this. Extra production towards my first district. It will help as I look to settle towards the mid and late stages of the game. We'll see if that ends up being a good plan or not. Oh wow, my other luxuries, Canada is now willing to buy for a significant amount of gold. I could afford to sell one in my capital and I wouldn't go below 0, and another one here as well. So actually I could sell one more of these, which is a luxury I'm more likely to get out of gypsum and diamonds. Well, there is another gypsum here. So the gypsum. All right, Canada. All right, I will have another 9 gold per ton. You're welcome. That means that I can get myself more gold and we can just keep our economy going. Don't know where that settler went, but it definitely hasn't come back to hit me. Canada built Etamananki. Ooh, that's a strong wonder. Fair play. Done well to get that one. If I wait 5 turns, I will have enough gold to buy a settler. So I'm actually going to just hold this. If I finish this settler, the cost of the next one will increase. So yeah, we're not going to finish this. I'm going to instead make a trader, no, a builder. This seems really weird, I know, but trust me, it's worth it. I also want to start mapping out the cities. Now, there is a little bit of a 2-city strategy I like to play on Deity, and this is the Magnus Pingala Twin Cities. Magnus is a governor that makes settlers. Magnus needs to go in a highly productive city, one that has a lot of lumber mills, quarries, mines, and you use it as your settler printing hub. Pingala gives you culture and science based on the population of a city, and also another 15% on top of that. So Pingala needs to go into a highly populated city with a lot of science potential. Now, the moment Gooberville is looking like the science place, I've got a couple of +3 campuses, which would give me the era score, don't forget, of +3. That would take me to 18. We're still looking to get the golden age if we can. And silver looks like the production one because we've got quarries and a lot of mines and lumber mills that could be put down. So this is a really productive city. So because of that, I actually don't want silver to be producing a campus. I want to be focusing on things that are going to give me production towards settlers, like the government plaza, like things like the commercial hub, stuff like that. So this will be the Magnus city. The Pingala city will be down here. We will want to get the campus going. Okay, this kind of makes sense. So we're going to start putting production up here and food down here. Again, plans, no plan survives contact with the enemy. First governor you get should always be spent on Amani. Amani gives 2 envoys to a city-state once she's established, and you can do something called the Amani Tour. If you are the first person to suzerain in a city-state, you gain 2 era score. We're going to try it with Hong Kong. Samarkand, I actually only need 1 envoy and I can suzerain them. So I'm actually going to drift and quickly pick up mysticism to pick up this envoy. And we can suzerain Samarkand. Then we'll get Hong Kong as well. That will be 4 extra era score, which is 9. If I then finish a campus, that would be another 3. We might still be able to get a golden age. It's going to be really tough, but you never know. So Amani, a point over to Hong Kong. Go and reveal whatever's there. I settle there. What I can do is a sort of aqueduct triangle diamond-shaped thing with the industrial zone. So we can work this source of horse and 2 aqueducts. But actually, we could make that even better. I could put the industrial zone there instead and actually make this into a dam. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. To make that even better, I'll make this into a government plaza, which gives adjacency to all surrounding districts. And I'll put commercial hubs here and here. These will then be +4 to gain the era score. Is it the perfect strategy? No, of course it's not, but it's at least a little something. We'll go for the campus in this city. Then I'll look to go commercial hub, aqueduct, dam, industrial zone. What I'm trying to do is we're grouping districts into 3 distinct categories. We've got economic, which is commercial hub and harbors. Every city needs one of those because we want trade routes. Science, which is just the campus, and then production. We need an industrial zone, ideally. This is the sort of thing that we are building. As I say, there is always room for improvement, but this is a good start. Oh no, they went round. The settler went round. It beat me. It went all the way around and I didn't notice. That's a shame. Okay. Okay, well, Canada beat me in that one. Never mind. Pull my warriors back. If it wants to attack me, it's going to have to attack over a river. I'm fortified. It's going to struggle to hit me hard at all. I could buy an archer, but I'm not going to just yet. We're not struggling just yet. They're going to move around so they can attack my slinger, but that's fine. We don't mind that. Now, the settler is purchased. We fix the builder, then we finish this settler. And this one's going to be a little bit more expensive as well, but that's fine. I'm going to give up on going for the golden age as well. If I can get 5 cities out, that will put me in a way better position than eking out a golden age with only 2. Or so he tells himself. You've also noticed that I'm working 3 tiles with culture on from the Matterhorn. This means I'm not actually worried about building a monument for the culture because I've already got a little bit of extra culture just pushing me through these early things. I will want warrior monuments eventually. Right now, it's doing good. Okay, the warrior seems to just be trying to go round me for some reason. I'm not overly sure why it's doing that, but this settler, as you can see, -9 loyalty is not too good. I'm going to try and settle this one first. We'll go to there. Then we'll head round, and here's my sugar. Can't sell it because unfortunately Eleanor won't take peace. She reckons she's got the up on me at the moment. Her military strength has gone up as well. I suspect it may be because she has levied Taruga's troops. I don't know. We'll find out in a bit, no doubt. They attacked me across the river. They did 25 damage and then I immediately healed 20. Or they did 20 damage and immediately healed 15. Whatever it is, as long as you stay fortified, they're not getting through. Tough. I know you want to get through, but it's not going to happen. So just give it up. Now, Hong Kong has Suzerain, which has revealed the map for me. Lovely. And there's nothing around here. So Armani, I will move Armani on to another city-state in a second. I can't move you to Taruga just yet because I'm at war with Eleanor, which means I'm at war with Taruga. So Armani cannot be placed there, alas, but that's fine. Australia, another person honored to meet you. He's far enough away from me that we can exchange information on capitals, which means we just trade capital locations, which is great. And Georgia, honored to meet you. Let's do the same thing. Okay, so Georgia is up here. Australia is here. It looks like Australia might be on a totally different continent. He is. Weird continents and islands map, this one, but fine. I'm just going to randomly offer friendship to both of them on turn 1. Sometimes it happens. Nope. But now we actually have somewhere to sell my sugar. 162 gold. I will take it up front this time. And that's given me 2 more era score. Interesting. Actually closer to getting that than I thought. I only need 6 more era score. How many turns have I got? 4 turns. I don't have the movement, unfortunately, to make it over to Paitati this round. It's going to be close, but no cigar, unfortunately. 95 gold to buy this tile, to get another quarry, get myself 1 more source of gypsum. We have our luxuries back, and as you can see, could sell them for quite a lot, but there's no need right now. What I'm going to do, though, with a little bit of gold, is treat myself to 1 archer. Now, this is a garrison archer that can hit at 35 strength and can wreck quite a few things, which is good, because France now has a horseman, which is not 20 combat strength, but 36. That horseman will attack across the river with a lot more strength. So this archer is now very much needed. But Eleanor has met Canada and Georgia. So Canada, would you like to join my war? No, something's blocking it. Normally he's too far away. He can't see that one. Georgia might for 1 gold per turn. Yeah, Georgia has now joined in on my war. Needed an excuse to attack France. Now, hopefully that means that Eleanor will now realize that she's up against it and will either move her troops back to defend her own land or peace out a little bit easier. And actually, Samarkand, 1 envoy. Bam. It is now my suzerain. That's another 2 era score. Interesting. You know, we really are quite close here. If I meet the last player, by the way, if I meet the last player, I will gain 3 era score. Oh no, 5 era score for doing it first. So, this is going to give me an era score for settling really close to somebody else. It's called a forward settle. So that'll put me to 22. I could levy. For 240 gold, I could levy Hong Kong for another one. That would mean that all of the warriors took to my lands and then I could go and attack with them. I don't necessarily need that. The problem with Golden Ages is that you can give up on them until you're really, really close. And after that point, you go, fine, I will try and fight for it, but I really don't want to. I'm going to move God King out. I probably should have done this before, actually. Urban planning gives you 1 production per city. The more cities you have, the better that is, but that's really handy. I could levy Samarkand as well if I got the gold. The gold will be tricky. I could sell a lot of my resources to do that. Let's think about it. Okay, right, the horseman did 48 damage to me, but as you can see, I healed quite a lot of it. So we're actually okay for now. I'm just going to kill that warrior behind my lines because that's annoying. And then I will get the second archer, which means we've got 2 sources of defense. But the warrior, give yourself Tortoise, because now if any ranged units appear, it's got a lot more defense against them. I'm going to move this settler out and try and settle there. I'm going to make a trader. I want to be able to get that boost to currency. Let's get bronze working. That will reveal sources of iron. That's another strategic. It will help me quite a lot to work out where I need to be. Now, Georgia is willing to sell me a luxury resource, salt, for 36 gold, which is pretty cheap. That will mean not very much for this city, but it will keep silver very, very happy if it grows in population. So I will get that quickly. Actually means I could, in theory, sell another resource if I wanted to get the gold, and I still wouldn't lose anything. Okay, so the horsemen's now decided to go round. Try and do that if you would like. You've left your other troops exposed here, and yep, horseman's going to take quite a bit of damage. I'm just defending. Just keep defending. Let them attack you. It doesn't matter if they're going to win the battles. As long as you don't die, you can come back and fight next time. And they have a lot of troops trying to flank, but I can do the damage to them and they can't retaliate. Now, I'm not actually going to be able to get the golden age, so I'm going to wait to settle by 1 turn. That will mean I get the era score next stage, which will help me to get to the classical era just a little bit quicker. Coward's way of doing it. I'm gaining diplomatic favor as well from having 2 city-state friends. You gain 1 diplomatic favor per turn for each suzerain. Luckily for me, Georgia and Canada both buy it at the early stages of the game, so we'll keep an eye out for that. I can sell it if I need a little bit of a cash injection. They're attacking me. The horseman's just running around, which is actually a little bit frustrating because they go around to Gooberville. I've got no defenses around there. I'm going to have to buy something, but we'll hope that they don't do that. Now, is Canada in a golden age? No, they're not. We have got away with one, because if Canada was in a golden age, Gooberville would have had a real loyalty problem, but nope. For now, we're okay. For now, we are okay. We can instead pick something that's going to gain us era score. Free Inquiry gives us 1 era score every time we hit a Eureka, and I want to be hitting all my Eurekas anyway, so that just encourages me to do it better. It's better than Penbrush and Voice because they're easier to get than Inspirations. Districts, you're not going to build as many as you think. Exodus of the Evangelists would be good if I was to get a religion this age. Now, do we think I'm going to? Actually, we might. Looks like great profits have been taken. 1, 2, and there are 4 religions in the game. So once Georgia has the religion, we will get the last profit. So actually, we're going to go Exodus because then we can get our religion. Done. This will encourage us to actually build a religion this age. Shinto to choral music. Just wait. Choral music feed the world. They'll be the first 2. I can just guarantee it. I don't know why the AI always does them, but they do. Okay then. Well, city number 3. It's the first settlement on a different continent. We actually would we have got the golden age? Oh, I think we might have been close. I forgot about that continent split. Because we got 1 era score from being within 5 towns of another city, and then 2 for the first. Well, I think I still would have been 1 short, but again, just is worth always bearing this stuff in mind. Okay, so the 3rd city is going to start working on a campus for me because we have a +3 campus available, which is really good. I can just steal this tile, stop Canada from gaining it, but that will give me the era score. We're looking to get +4 at some point, so I'm hoping that Canada will put a district down on one of these 2 tiles, which they should, and then we'll put a district of some type down here and it will go to +4. Why +4? Well, later in the game, we unlock rationalism, which gives me 50% extra science on all buildings in a campus if the district has 4 adjacency bonus or more. So we're keeping +4 in mind. That's why I've built districts around this one. Do you see? There is science in this brain somewhere. Horseman's trying to heal. Unfortunately, it's going to succeed if it stays there, but as long as it's there, it's not actually attacking me, and Samarkand is going to kill it for me. So just keep holding this defensive line. Let's get my 4th city done. This city, we'll start building a monument. That will help there. So now that we've started the classical era, this is where I think the game is now going to shift from that initial phase, which is effectively to get 4 cities down, which we've done. In fact, we're actually going to get 5 down to try and take advantage of Paitati. Then we go into phase 2, which is all about building up the economy. Right now, yes, we have the 4 cities, but our science and culture are terrible. Our gold is okay, but mainly is inflated from the fact that we have trade deals, and our production is pretty terrible. We know that Gooberville, this city down here, is going to be our Pingala city, but silver is going to act as our internal trade hub. Now, yes, Paitati will be used later into the game going to make some fantastic international trade routes, but for now, we are going to use silver as an internal trading hub. And this is where we talk about internal trading routes. If you send a trade route to one of your own cities, you gain 1 food and 1 production, but that's not the whole story because there are things that increase that. Every time you build a district in a city, you increase the domestic destination of a trade route. So for instance, I get production if silver has a commercial hub. I would gain food if I were to have a campus, food with a holy site, production if I was to have an encampment, and so on. The more districts you build in the city, the more yields those trade routes get. So silver, if I'm going to have all of my routes being sent to it, needs to have all of the districts. Not all districts are equal, however. There are 2 that are better than the others. Firstly, the government plaza, which gives food and production, as well as a governor. So having this would make the trade routes 2 food and 2 production. Later in the game as well, when we get to mathematics, the diplomatic quarter does the same thing. Finally, Magnus, who we want to gain anyway, because this will give us a way to produce settlers without losing very well needed population. This will increase internal trade routes by some more food. What I need to do is put Magnus in here with all of these districts and make trade routes that have 4 food, 2 production, 5 food, 3 production. They will build and build and build. They mean cities like Gooberville, Alex Frost, Parla can be created, a trade route can be sent in, and they can be super boosted, because the problem with districts, and you will have noticed this as you have been building up to Deity, is that districts get more and more and more expensive as the game goes on. They start at 54 production, but they get more expensive depending on the percentage of the most complete tree out of the civics tree and the technology tree. So if we took all of the civics and did the amount of civics you've unlocked divided by the total civics, and then compared that to a similar calculation in the technology tree, whichever one has a greater percentage is making your districts cost more and more. Look, my campus is 97 production, not 54. So they're already almost twice. And as the game goes later and later and later, these districts are going to get more and more expensive. For that reason, actually ignoring technologies and only going for as few techs and civics as possible, so leaving things you don't need like military tradition, military training, mercenaries, governments like exploration and reformed church, that sort of thing can actually keep your districts even cheaper. Now, there is another mechanism called district discounting, which is quite good as well, but we won't be worrying about that too much. Not today anyway. 3-turn government plaza, let's get this in. This will be made in the city of Silver, which is now going to have Magnus established in it. Then the trade route will go from Gooberville, helping us to finish the settler. And whilst, yes, we are building 1 campus in Alex Frost, I need it for the era score and to get a little bit of science. The other cities that I own are going to be focused on going for economy first. I want the commercial hubs so that I can get more trade routes to get more production to build more stuff. It's a delicate little pivot, but one we will try and do. To that extent, I'm actually going to sell my diplomatic favor. This is just what I'm accumulating. I would rather take the gold rather than keeping this to buy this tile. It's only 65 gold because it's 2 tiles away from silver. And then I'm going to give it to Parla like that. I think silver was actually working this tile. Oh, it wasn't. But look, my borders are going to be really, really messy now. This tile is actually owned by Parla. But if I bought it from this city, it would have been 100 gold. So I just saved 35 there. But once currency is unlocked next turn, I will be producing the commercial hub in this city. We'll get the commercial hub in silver as well. We'll get this commercial hub in Gooberville, and that'll give us 1, 2, 3 and push us up to 4 trade routes and start earning some merchants. There are some very good early game merchants. Increases trade route capacity, is brilliant. Imhotep is also the first engineer. That's effectively 3 wonders if you can pick him up. So we will very much keep an eye on Imhotep. Now, political philosophy. Let's get that government going. Urban planning is still representing about 10% of our production economy, which is quite a lot. Conscription will save us a tiny bit of gold per turn. So we'll do that just to squeeze a little bit more economy out. We're not making any more units right now. My wall of warriors is too good, and we can insult and annoy Canada all we want because Canada will never declare war on us. I'm going to just take the Diplo favor. I've just taken that back. He'll eventually just end up giving it straight back to me. It'll be really, really quite nice. So thank you for promoting me there. That's very kind of you. Now your horseman's dead. You see why I left it there? I knew it wouldn't be able to resist. The spearman has annoyingly sat on top of a tile I was just about to make, but never mind. So trade route to silver. It's only 1 food and 1 production, but that will go up really, really quickly. Currency's boosted, but it turn into monuments. I ideally want monuments in all of my cities as soon as possible. I just haven't really had the opportunity yet. Always keep an eye out for luxuries. Buy these from the AI. They are so cheap. Keeps all of my cities happy. They all have 10% extra yields. I can immediately make that money back by selling the Diplo favor. I should probably be taking gold per turn if I'm not in a rush for anything, but never mind. Currency, done. Okay, now what we're going to do is lock in the cost of districts. This commercial hub will get more and more expensive as we get more techs and culture, unless you put it down, in which case, as soon as you do, it locks in the cost. Silver, I want you to do this as well. We're going to pop that commercial hub down and do exactly the same thing. Lock that in. We'll finish this government plaza first. Next tech, I'm tempted to unlock bronze working to find iron, which can be on any hill tile. It might ruin some of my district plans, but we don't have a huge amount of plans that are going to get ruined by iron, to be honest with you. I'd rather unlock it and then have another resource that I can sell to the AI. That would do more for me, I think. Oh, Gooberville is going to do the same thing with the commercial hub. We're just going to put it down, lock in the price, and then continue making the settler. There's the profit. We got the last profit on turn 56, so we had to wait, but that's fine. The profit's actually going to wait here for some time. We don't need to make our religion. Now we have a profit. We can wait as long as we need, which is rather entertaining. You're in no rush whatsoever. Oh, Granada is really cool. Granada gives us Alcazars, which give 2 culture, which are really cool, but also science equal to 50% of the tile's appeal. So if I pop it on a tile like this, it would be worth 2 science, 2 culture, which is really good. Okay, we might put some Alcazars down, and it's another city-state to send Armani to, so we'll continue the tour now. Send you over to Granada. Excellent. Its quest is to build a holy site. Well, we're going to be doing that soon anyway, so it should be my friend. And there's Georgia, by the way. Georgia is the orange over here. Oh, we've got plenty of space at the moment. We don't have too much of an issue with space. That's good. So watch the trader. The trader is currently worth 1 food and 1 production to Gooberville. Now that the government plaza is finished, it's now worth 2 food and 2 production. It's doubled its strength. Gooberville is now really starting to grow much quicker than it was before, which is lovely. And Magnus is now going to have surplus logistics, which will give me 20% extra growth in that city, as well as trader it's ending here, providing 2 extra food. So next turn, when Magnus establishes, this will be worth 4 food and 2 production, which is even better. Settler, finished. There is still an option to go and grab this tile, so I will. As the settler on the way, I'm going to move 1 archer over to just try and deal with Taruga briefly, forge my path out, but this is a fantastic avenue for me to go and claim some more stuff. How much for open borders? Normally they'll sell it to you pretty cheap. 12 gold, that'll be fine. Let's go and explore. So as predicted, choral music, feed the world, and warrior monks have all gone, which means Jesuit education is, I think, probably what I'm going to go for. Feed the world would have been always really good, but we're playing Arabia. We don't want to worry about that for now. So you can see commercial hub, commercial hub, commercial hub, all being built. And Eleanor is finally offering peace, which I will accept because this actually puts me back at peace with Taruga, which gives me the science back and means I can move my settler down here without worry of being killed. So that is lovely. Magnus is there. 4 food, 2 production. Excellent. That's what we want to see. So Gooberville is now growing much quicker than before. Bronze working has given me a source of iron underneath Parlor, so I'm now gaining iron per turn, even though I haven't got an iron mine down, which is a brilliant result for me. Actually, now going to work on mathematics up until the boost in order to make sure we unlock that diplomatic quarter really quickly. As I say, I really would like these trade routes to just be as good as possible, but my government choices. +1 to all yields for each government plaza building and diplomatic quarter building and palace is more than you'd think. It'd be worth 2 to all yields, including science, culture, faith. It's good, but I think I would rather, for the long run, have Classical Republic, because then I get the Classical Republic legacy card giving me 1 housing and 1 amenity in all cities, even if I own 20 cities, as long as I have 1 district. I think in the long run, it always works out to be better. We have a look. The scientists are being aggressively obtained, so there's no point at the moment going for profit points. Scientist points, which is always a way of doing this. A charismatic leader, I think I'll put in to get some more influence points for envoys. I'll gain the 2 gold from caravanseries, keep the urban planning, and we'll go for conscription. We're going to just really throw in on the gold per turn. Excellent. And now silver with its district is now ecstatic, which means we're now getting 20% to all yields. Oh, this is good. That will disappear when we settle, but for now, that's really handy. The next thing I would like to work towards is feudalism in order to pick up serfdom to gain extra builder charges when I make builders. The reason for this is that every time you make a builder, it gets systematically more expensive. So at the beginning of the game, I think a builder was 50 production, now it's 62. It doesn't matter how many charges a builder has when you make it, every builder makes the next builder a little bit more expensive in a linear fashion. So you want to have the builders with as many charges as possible to get maximum charges for the production you spend. Does that make sense? That should make sense. So we're going to go towards serfdom, which involves going for games and recreation. We're not going to get construction. That's really difficult to get. Construction is all the way there. So I guess I could go masonry, horseback riding, build a water, but there's so many techs I need for that. So no, we're going to go games and recreation. We have the boost to defensive tactics because Eleanor declared on me, and then we need 6 farms, which I should be able to force out. Now she likes me because my cities have a lot of loyalty and population. Eleanor is a confusing creature. There she is over there. Okay, so slowly the jaws of the continent are beginning to move in on us. The space we have is looking a little more cramped than it was a couple of turns ago, but we should be fine. Culture city-state has been found. Gaining culture for a great person earned. That's not bad. And Eleanor will now be my friend. So, okay, she declared war on me, lost, and is now my friend. That's confusing, but I like to think that she just sort of thought otherwise. She went, no, Ursa's the better person. I should respect that, which is fair enough. Let's finish this monument because it's already a little bit finished, but silver's got good production. So I'm going to make the ancestral hall 50% increased production towards settlers in this city. Combined with the colonization card, it means we will have 40 production per turn towards settlers, which means settlers will be a lot quicker, and new cities receive a free builder. So we'll get that working. I'm going to save my gold up to buy the buildings in silver so that I don't need to use my production on buildings. I want all my production going towards delicious settlers. We're also just going to sell everything else that I've got to get to 480 so that I can now buy a market, which gives me another trade route capacity. So now I can buy or build a trader and put my second route up. I'm also now gaining 2 merchant points per turn, which will unlock me the merchants nice and quickly. So going into the classical age gave us 1 era score. Our first tier 1 government gave us 2. And now the first campus with 3 adjacency has been finished, which gives me another 3. So we've gained some lovely era score there. We're going to settle near Paitati and on desert, which means we should gain another 4. We've got to get to 50 in 28 turns. It's going to be tricky, but I'm hoping we should be able to do it. Remember, the Deity AI cheats. The Deity AI has a lot more production than you, a lot more science than you, and it starts with settlers. But as you can see, Canada, 4 cities. Eleanor of France with 5. Georgia has 5. Australia has 4. We are just about to get to 5. We have now just about overcome the starting penalty that a player has compared to the AI. We're not all the way there. There's still more to do, but it is a huge improvement. Now, this commercial hub is finished. Oh, by the way, the trader is now 4 food, 3 production because this commercial hub finished. I think I mentioned that, but maybe I didn't. We can build a campus in Gooberville if we would like. We're thinking ahead though. We want to use Arabia's ability, which is if I have a worship building, aka religion, I've got a shrine, a temple, and then my worship building on top, I gain 10% extra science, faith, and culture. So any city that has a campus in will eventually want a holy site as well. So I'm just going to keep that in mind as we go. For now though, I think we're going to get the market to get the extra gold, get the extra trade route, then we'll put the campus down. As before, I'm just going to lock in that production cost so that it doesn't get more expensive. Go back to the market, finish that. My defensive army, by the way, I'm just taking it on a very quick tour to the Matterhorn because I would like all of my units to have that bonus. Extra combat strength on hills and the ability to move through them. I always forget to use Matterhorn. Today is not one of those days. Here is city number 5. Watch my era score. Bam. Huge bonuses. City will start with 2 culture and 3 gold underneath it because it's next to Paitati, and we're going to be working this 9 gold and 4 culture tile. We've just gained another 5.6 culture without needing to do anything, which is lovely. As before, I will start with a commercial hub and lock that in place. We'll gain production in this city with the trade route. Had I waited 5 turns, I could have got myself a 3 builder there, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to wait that long. And that is a +4 commercial hub in Pala. So I've made this nice triangle. So some more era score. We're just working on making sure that we get little bits here and there, here and there. Mathematics. There's the diplomatic quarter. If I build this next to a city center, I gain an extra envoy, and it protects that district from being spied against. But I also gain diplomatic favor for each delegation, and as discussed before, trade routes to this city gain 1 food and 1 production. So I would like my capital to do that as soon as possible. I kind of want to chop that stone out. Remember as well, Magnus has something called Groundbreaker, which is 50% yields from plot harvests. And if I cut that stone away, that will be worth 50% more. So I'm going to treat myself to a builder, which is expensive, but I do have the gold that will let me chop stuff out in my capital nicely. I can't actually do it because I have a great profit waiting there. Don't worry about the religion. The religion will happen in its own good time. Granada. There we go. It's mine. First suzerain, 2 era score, and we just found a natural wonder. Lovely. Okay, so there's a huge amount of era score there. Hoping we will go for a golden age next era. I mean, we should do. It's a shame if we didn't. Now let's unlock wheel, and I can get myself a watermill and go all the way to apprenticeship. So go chop this out. I can't because I haven't got masonry. Why have I not got masonry? That's amazing. Okay, you just wait there for a couple of turns until I pick up masonry. Selling my duplicate luxuries still, as well as my strategics. Anything that can be sold is being sold. I need the gold, not anything else. Do you see how my capital has actually run out of housing? I'm going to buy a granary here just to keep this growing. I need to get to 10 population so I can get another district down. The more districts in my capital, the better the trade routes become. There's the trade route, and as you can see, I can keep these going. I think Alex Frost is refusing to grow, but Leswit is going to benefit more from this, so I'll get this one going first. Go for a monument. Monumentally good. Granada was immediately taken from me. No matter. I got the era score. That's what I was here for. Okay, now masonry allows me to harvest stone. I'm going to put the diplomatic quarter down there. I think that makes more sense. I don't want to get rid of this rainforest because that's good yield, and I don't want to put it on the floodplain if I can help it. No. So we will harvest diplomatic quarter 1 turn. Do you see, I left the build queue blank so that the chop goes towards the district. It says 0 out of 65. That's not true. It will update next turn. Now, conscription, not very useful. Let's go colonization, 50% production towards settlers. We've got urban planning. We've got caravanasseries. That's all looking lovely. We'll get the diplomatic quarter finished next turn, and then 4-turn settlers. We're going to start pumping these out as quickly as we can. And for that, provision. Settlers trained in the city do not consume population. That will allow our capital to make as many settlers as we need without losing momentum and growth. Leswit has 1.1 food, so this extra 4 is timesing the food by 5. Look at that growth. That is huge improvement on growth, and this is how we get new cities off the ground as quickly as possible. 4.6 merchant points coming in per turn as well. Great merchants are really useful, so we'll get as many of these as we can. How have we not got a pasture? Okay, there is a pasture right there that we can get, so that's good. We'll get that boost. We'll get that by selling some more stuff. Keeping my builder use to an absolute minimum, but you don't want to let your empire stall. You need to keep all of these boosts going as soon as you can. So now the diplomatic quarter means that my trade routes are now worth 5 food for production. Big increase there. Guilds has boosted considerably because I have 2 markets. There's defensive tactics, and now we have a governor. I would like to get Pingala pretty soon, but I'm just going to drop into Liang quickly to mean that all builders in a city gain 1 build charge. Our aim is to make a city that is a bit of a builder hub, and I think Parla is going to be great for this. Once we have feudalism as well, that'll be a nice little combo. There's the pasture for horseback riding. I need farms. We have 1 in our empire, so the feudalism boost is going to be expensive, but I've got 2 charges there, 2 charges there to buy ourselves 1 more builder, but then we can boost feudalism, which would help massively. So let's go and make some farms. You'll notice we really haven't at any point built wonders, and I don't really intend to. Agubaville has run out of housing. Get the granary in and finish the trader first, so I can just keep the traders. You want to have all of these trade routes used as soon as you can. Worth bearing in mind, though, that there are some good gold routes available now from Leswit. These are now worth like 9 gold. I'm going to stay internal up until the point that I get diplomatic service and the Visselbanken card. This gives you 2 food and production for trade routes to allies or vassal city-states. At that point, then we start working towards switching to international. So putting farms down in Gubaville is stopping me from needing housing, so we don't need the granary anymore. Perfect. Be willing to be adaptable. Change your build orders. Don't get fixed into certain ideas. It's very easy to get yourself trapped on something, such as, for instance, if I settle there instead of here, yes, I'm going to have to put a mine down for the diamonds, but then I can put a city center there and spread around my capital a little bit. Utilize this government plaza more. Do I want to do that? Or would I prefer for my capital to have a bit of space. Yeah, a bit more space. Settle there instead. Then I would ruin this. I'm kind of tied into that one a little bit. I need a quantity of cities more than anything. All right, I will volcano settle. It does give me era score after all. That'll do. That'll do nicely. In fact, it does very nicely indeed, because if I aqueduct there, I can industrial zone pretty nicely. So there are some really good adjacencies here. Apprenticeship boosted with 3 mines. We want these industrial zones as soon as possible, specifically because Emetep is the first engineer, and that's a really, really good one. But also production is king. We need as much production as we can get our mitts on. Using some builder charges, some would say slightly unnecessarily, on farms, but for me, I need that feudalism boost. This trader has finished, which is actually a really good opportunity to then move you to Alex Frost, move you to Parla. We're going to just make sure that all of our new cities have the effects of this. That is a beautiful extra luxury, which then, as you can see, I can start selling on the open market for even more gold. But the first merchant increases trade route capacity by 1. Foreign trade routes to this city provide 2 gold to both cities. I'll use that in silver, which is this commercial hub. And the next one gives me another copy of a luxury, but 1 era score from a great person. Lovely stuff. That means, Gooberville, you can have a trader when that merchant goes down. Okay, cool. Everyone gets a trader, apart from Silver. Silver is the one giving all of the benefits, but is receiving none of them yourself. Sorry about that. You're just a lovely city. Last farm, feudalism boosted. Perfect. That's just brilliant. Trade route. And Alex Frost has no food to grow, so this is it's really crucial that trade route goes in. That's amazing. Bam. Trade route capacity. Get it done. The first settler has appeared. Let's grab this one first. Got my warriors moving out to guard these spots. Canada, 5 cities. France, 5 cities. Georgia, 5 cities. Australia, 5 cities. We're now looking to expand beyond the AI. We want more cities. They cheat economically. They have a huge advantage over us, so we can't fight fair. We have to have more stuff than them at all times. So Riga's being killed. There are a lot of city-states being attacked in this game. A very aggressive game. I'm quite proud of myself for making it through that initial combat with Eleanor. I think we did quite well. AI wasn't messing around at all. Okay, Parla, do you want a monument? That is really good, but I'm going to buy the monument for you because I want you to start making builders, because these are 4 charge builders, and then serfdom will be really good as well. Sure, there's another district you could make. I don't know what that district's going to be right now, but I'm willing to wait. Classical era ends in 10 turns. We have 6 era score to get before that point. I'm pretty sure we should be fine. We're going to get era score from settling this city next to France. There are bits and pieces we can get. Now, campus, there's a lovely +3. Again, +3s are good because it means you can look to boost them later to +4s. We want everything to be a +4. Don't get stuck into building industrial zones in cities that don't have really, really good adjacencies. You're building them in packs. Like, this is going to be an industrial hub. Parla, Leswit, Gooberville, you don't really need them unless you've got really, really good industrial zones. So I'm not going to build one in Alex Frost. I'm not going to build one in Leswit. Once we have the campus, we'll be looking to build holy sites to maximize the Arabian bonuses we're getting. So this will be a campus city. I'll get a monument in here first. Moderate flood. I think that's taken out of market, hasn't it? Go and have a look at that in a second. 50% production towards settlers is still good. The gold per turn is good. The urban planning, I want that more. So we're going to get rid of the gold, put the 2 extra builder charges in. Serfdom should very rarely leave your government. It is one of the best cards in the game. It should remain there for most of the game. Right, I'll fix the market after the trader's done. Yeah, you doesn't want to go anywhere. It wants to stay there for pretty much the entire game. Here's the city of Mandeltort. That represents city number 6. Go and work this mine first. As you can see, we waited until we had the card in, and this builder has 5 charges, which is just lovely. Actually, how many mines have I got? 1 mine. We'll have 2 there. I really don't have any other mines, do I? Wow, we need some more mines. Okay, we want to make sure apprenticeship gets boosted. Now we're going to go to theology and unlock the madrasa. It's my university. Very, very powerful building. Settling too close. Tough, tough. I want the Diplo favor. I'll then sell it back to you. I don't mind if she dislikes me. Ultimately, we can make better friends just by doing things like trading with her. 22 gold per turn I just got from all my Diplo favor there. That's lovely. Settle there. And really, I need to go and explore this area and find out what's here. The other side of Taruga looks like good land. It does not look like as good land, to be honest with you. This is a bit ropier. Shame I can't build a canal. I guess I could. I could build a canal there. Settle there. Pop a 1-tile canal on that tile. Aqueduct it. Industrial zone it. No, we could do better. In theory, we could do this, which is a very silly thing. I'm putting it there because it entertains me, but that's unlikely to actually be beneficial in any way. This trader fruits remain good though. 5 food, 4 production. Capital continues to make settlers. It will continue to do so until we get to 10 population. Here's a mine. That was my third mine. Okay, I must have missed one somewhere. Oh, here. Yeah, okay, cool. Perfect. I've saved up 600 gold, so I'm going to buy a consulate, which gives me more envoy points per turn. Reduces spies in my city even more, but it also gives me bonuses based on my city-states. Anything that has 3 envoys or more will give me a consulate bonus. So that'll be worth 4 gold, 2 production towards units, aka settlers, and 2 production towards buildings, districts, and wonders. So that's really handy. We want this as soon as we can get it. There you go. Look, it's actually taking a turn off the settler. Nice. Now, I want aqueducts as soon as possible. So Alex Frost is just waiting to do something. I'm going to build another archer. It's my third, which will give me the boost. Just looking ahead, we're trying to preempt what's coming up. Give myself as many bonuses as possible. Granada was defeated, destroyed. No Alcazars for me, apparently. We can liberate that later, potentially. I'll send you over to this city-state. This one is a difficult take, but is worth lots of culture if I get more great people, which I should. 6 production build-up. That's exactly what we want to see. In fact, actually, I'm going to try building pyramids in 12 turns. This is quite difficult. If I can chop it out, it means that builders will have another builder charge. So I'd be able to make 7 charge builders, which is very entertaining. Now as delegations are sent to me, I get more and more Diplo favor per turn, which is more and more that I can sell. Apprenticeship gives me era score. Now all of my mines are worth a little bit of extra production as well, and I can put down industrial zones. Now, I think I should unlock astrology, which would be handy. I do need some holy sites to get my religion. We shouldn't have gone for the 2 era score every time we convert anything. That was a bit of a waste. We probably should have gone for 3 inquiry instead. I don't think it'll matter in the long run, but it's worth keeping that in mind. I'm very briefly going to get rid of urban planning and put Corvée in. 15% production towards ancient and classical wonders, because now I can chop out more of these pyramids with the stone, which is quite apt, really. Perfect. Feudalism is awesome. Okay, now we'll go theology. So religion is being spread to me. It's Eastern Orthodoxy, which is warrior monks, which is rubbish. Never mind. I hope something decent would be spread, but it doesn't look like it. 100 faith gains a 3 copy of a luxury resource to my capital. What I'm doing is I want to look for a luxury that I haven't got access to at the moment. Ideally something on another continent. Amber. Amber will do. Go and grab that. To get that, we'll need shipbuilding, but I can wait for that. That's fine. Merchant is in no rush whatsoever. I think this is going to be more era score for settling near a volcano. Yes. And near Eleanor, so it's actually worth 2 era score. Lovely. Big old flood. That is the difficulty and danger of settling on a floodplain before you hit dams, and it's done a huge amount of damage to me. Look at that. Oh, that's atrocious. So we lost this sugar. We've lost the ancestral hall, the market, and the market. Okay, it could be worse. All right, let's get this fixed nice and quickly. Well, it doesn't need to be too quickly, as long as it's fixed at some point. Build ancient walls. Oh yeah, that was what I needed to do. I remember that now. Alex Frost would be very happy to do that. And leaving the builder Q3, we're going to chop that rainforest out and plop down an industrial zone, which will be worth more when all this is fixed. Another flood. This time it's just put yields down. It hasn't taken anything away. There's the pyramids chopped out, and that guarantees me the golden age. All builders on the map gain an extra improvement. All builders built in this city now have 7 charges, and we get a 3 builder as well. So that is looking mightily good. Excellent stuff. Okay, Parla is just going to print builders now. That is your job. You will do it very well. Urban planning goes back in, and we've now hit 100 production per turn. So we are starting to gain a significant amount more production, which is really, really essential. Very much needed to be in that position. Madrasa unlocked. We're going to build that next age. Now we'll go for recorded history for another governor. Head towards the monarchy in order to get ourselves the tier 2 government. You really want to be heading for that as soon as you can. So as you can see, again, the science isn't particularly high, and we have now fallen significantly behind. We're now 8 techs behind France. We're not in the campus building stage just yet. We're going to have 3, which is decent, but it's all about economy still. All about getting trade routes, gold, production, all of this stuff repaired as soon as you can. Engineering, I want the boost, so let's move off that quickly. Let's get sailing. I can work on those crabs. Start again, some more industrial zones. I'd like silver to build an industrial zone pretty much as soon as possible. Golden Age, medieval era. This is now the age of great expansion. We are currently sat on 7 cities. By the end of this age, I would love it to be on 12 to 15. We got a bit of a choice. Either we go for 3 inquiry, which makes our Eurekas better. That means instead of 40% tech, we gain 50% if we get a Eureka. Also, commercial hubs will give us adjacency for science, which, I mean, if we just have a look at this, it would be 4 4, 8, 10, 13 extra science. That's a significant chunk. So we tech much faster. Monumentality, movement for builders. We can purchase civilian units with faith, and they're cheaper to buy with faith and gold. Now we don't actually have any faith per turn, and our gold, yeah, it would be good. The settlers are 1,000 gold. So they'd be 700, and we can actually produce them with production really well. In fact, we can actually produce builders with production really well. So monumentality doesn't really need to be used. Exodus, which means I would get more profit points. That's more faith per turn because I've already got the profit. It'd get more charges and movement. So if I want to make a religion and then spread it this age, this would be the one to go for. I'm going to go for 3 inquiry because I want the extra science. I mean, just showing you what that looks like. 33 goes to 47. That's a huge boost. It actually puts me now on par with Australia and Georgia, which is insane. Which is we start building more libraries now. Yeah, actually, that's wild. Perfect choice. And we'll focus on getting those commercial hubs down as soon as we can. Although I am building this industrial triangle up here, as you will see. Did Canada get a golden age? No, just a regular normal age, which means actually Montreal is losing loyalty to an extent. That means I can probably settle around here, which I will look to do this. We can go around Canada. I think we're going to unlock a lot more land for us to explore, but also to settle. Like if Canada was my ally, that would be quite handy. So we'll open borders with him. We'll look to give a decent amount of trade with him in order to make sure we get good bonuses. And now I've got a bit of extra gold. I'm just going to go around and make sure all of my cities have monuments. They're really cheap, 240 gold. It just means that I can make sure that I'm getting all the culture I need per turn. Yep, that's it. All of them have one. Perfect. So voting, if you're going for a science victory, you don't need to worry about voting too much. I've sold on my favor away. I'll vote for myself to have an extra trade route. And let's go for production is cheaper when building units. Eleanor got 1. Okay, I got 1 point, and that's fine. But we don't really mind about what's going on there. Looks like there's a nice place to settle around here. So let's head over in that direction with that settler. And did I say stop printing settlers? No, I did not. So don't stop it. 6 extra science from campuses. Again, I'm just going to keep going for the economy just for a bit. We'll keep that in mind as a useful card. So we have engineering now for the aqueducts. Let's go stirrups for the Mamluk. That's my unique unit in case I get attacked. Naliang's in place. Pingala into the Science City. I still think Guberville is the best one. Actually, this settler. Let's get rid of the settler card briefly. We don't need that. Okay, I will go for the science. I'm going to build the aqueduct first. We're going to get ready for the industrial zone. I realize I put the wrong industrial zone. Mandeltork grabbed the really big industrial zone. Whoops. I shouldn't have done it that way, Rad. That was meant to go in silver. Never mind. That was a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. That was meant to go in this city. Never mind. Mandeltork was supposed to get this one. Well, it happens. It happens. What can you do? In fact, actually, for that reason, we're going to work on Buttress to go and get the dam fixed as soon as possible. I don't want this dam to not be there if it floods again. That was a really terrifying flood for me. Keep the friendship going with Eleanor. It just means she can't attack me, which is lovely. Aid requests. Join these if you can. You don't need to contribute to them. It just means you've got visibility. Oh, I'm the only person in it. Okay, well, in that case, what happens is you give 1 gold as a gift, and now I get 2 diplomatic points and 200 diplomatic favor. Nice. Don't complain. Just take it. Canada likes me because I'm in an emergency. And that means we should be able to make friends with him. Of everyone on the map, you want to be friends with your neighbors, ideally. There you go. Oh, Canada's going to go and settle this way. We were a bit slow on that. Never mind. Gain 60 gold. Nearest city annexes a tile into the territory. We can actually use this around Leswit to steal tiles around Montreal, which would be handy. I don't think there's anything from La Rochelle we want to steal. No, so down you go. This would be hilarious. Oh, I lost my scout to a very badly timed barbarian encampment, but I just got shipbuilding, which means that my merchant can finally get into the sea to work this source of amber. Okay, the aqueduct is finished. Let's now get an industrial zone sorted in my capital. This is where we're just taking a break from settlers to make sure the production is up. Also got industrial zone there. We'll get that aqueduct done and locked in, and chop that forest out so that I can put the aqueduct there. And there's civil service. Alliances are going to be good. Now, I think Canada is probably going to be stopping me from settling with loyalty, but so is France. Now, I don't think France will ever accept a cultural alliance because this is Eleanor of Aquitaine and she's programmed not to, but I think Canada would be a really good cultural ally because then I can settle around him as much as possible. Cultural ally means that no loyalty pressure is exerted on either of you, which is lovely. France, I will be trading with you, I think. Let's let's go for Research Alliance. It's a really nice one for me because it means I can get more science from the Trade Routes 2 hat. Oh, Australia's missionary is choral music. Again, don't worry about this too much. They can spread religion to me all that they want. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. We're going to be building our own holy site soon. Once we've got that, we'll be solving all of our problems. Okay, Divine Right. Build 2 temples. We haven't got any holy sites just yet, which again, it's a really strange play. Very strange play we've got going today, but kind of works. That library's finished. This one's being done. This campus is finished. This campus is done next turn. My science has just exploded in the last few turns. Finally starting to think about building my first madrasa. Nice. Get it built, I say. Get it built. Not more floods. No. Stop it. First industrial zone. Finished. Okay. Silver's got more production now. We'll save up for a workshop here. Let's start to get more settlers. Remember what I said about this era? We have an agenda here. 5 production and 5 food now from the traders is an amazing upgrade. It's going to make a trader there, but my market got flooded. That was typically what happens. Bam. Industrial zone is now finished as well. Let's get this aqueduct done. Buttress, finished. Okay. A dam actually gives an immunity and 3 housing to a city that finishes it. So I'm tempted to put that in my capital, but I think my capital's busy. So we'll make this in the city of Mandletort. To be honest, it doesn't really matter as long as it all gets put down. It'll all go to the right place eventually. All of your luxuries will spread themselves evenly around your empire and everything will just eventually make its way back to you. Okay, let's get going to industrialization as soon as we can. 2 harbors, great scientist. We'll get celestial navigation because I actually need to know what a harbor is in order to make them. And I don't know about you, that seems to be the normal way. Just having a look and see if there's any more exploration for settlement opportunities, but I think this is a good one. Georgia doesn't like the fact that I have no walls. To that I say, I don't care. And this is turn 100. Now, considering I was really late to the science game, I am nowhere near to 100 yield by 100. But what I have done is I've put my production and gold above 100. 100 by 100 is, it doesn't really mean anything. It's a bit nonsensical, but people like to say 100 by 100 as if somehow it makes a big difference. But you can see, just focusing on economy, focusing on the number of cities, we've got 8 of them out now. We have the economy sorted. It's working really well. That's a +5 campus there. Oh, that will be really good, although we will work on the commercial hub first. Remember, trade routes, trade routes, trade routes. It's a good deal. I was offered a luxury for a great work, and that gives me more culture. Perfect. Here is score for a amazing industrial zone. That's in the city of Mandletort. And as the aqueducts get put down, as the dams get put down, these adjacencies are just going to climb. I also have just finished my first madrasa. This campus has 6 adjacency because it's being doubled right now, which means I'm now getting 6 faith per turn. These madrasas are going to be an amazing source of faith for me, but now we start to build the holy sites. I'm hoping Canada eventually builds something there in order to give me even more adjacency on my campuses. Loads of settlement opportunity to the left of my empire there, though. That's great. 1 envoy into Taruga so that my university and consulate buildings give science. That puts me up to 96. Divine Right. Here we go. Upgrading to monarchy. It's just generally a better government. So you can see natural philosophy is working, extra faith and extra gold, which is great. Serfdom is good. Put Republican Legacy in. Would like the settler card ideally. So maybe Republican Legacy just won't go in for now. We'll go limes and conscription. Tiny bit more gold. Ability to build walls. Now it's guilds to get craftsmen. Double adjacency from industrial zones. My lord, look at all the reefs over here. This is good land. This is very good land. Okay. What this effectively means is that there are 2 + 4 campuses just naturally spawned onto the map. Both of those are rationalism boosted, so we want to get over here as soon as we can. Also a lumber mill, getting all the boosts we can. Oh, Georgia has declared war on me. That's genuinely surprising. Georgia is over here. I imagine they're going to come for the city of Interplanet Janet. Okay, if this happens, don't panic. You've got a good economy. You've got a really good production. Sure, your city only has 10 strength, but if we throw the walls up quickly, focus on upgrading the troops we've got, we shouldn't have a problem. In fact, man-at-arms and man-look, well, these are going to make things rather trivial indeed. I can't upgrade to man-at-arms because I don't know what a swordsman is, so we'll just work on this quickly, but I do have an army. It is kind of ready to go. Let's just now send it over to the danger zone. Georgia has declared war on both of my allies doing that, and Australia is also joining in. Would you like to be a military ally and join in on my war? No, we wouldn't. Okay, that's a useless military ally, but at least we've got one. That's the main thing. Armani was very rudely moved there. Kind of want that city-state, so we're going to go back there in a bit. Nice high era score. Holy Site is now done, gaining me a lot of adjacency. Again, I'm ready. I could make my religion. I'm not going to. When you make a religion, it spreads spreads automatically to any city with a holy site. And I'm actually going to make holy sites in 4 or 5 cities before I finish it. We'll start making on things like shrines. But for now, we might as well just enjoy other people's religious beliefs. We don't need to worry about having our own. Like at the moment, Shinto is being spread to us. Shinto is extra culture on shrines, so why complain? It's a Georgian scout. We might as well shoot it. The walls of Interplanet Janet are up. Okay, we do get attacked. I think we'll be fine. 3 little workshop for my capital. Just keep the production going. How's Imhotep going? I need to rush Imhotep a little bit to make sure that we get him. He's too good not to get. A forward settlement with no loyalty. Interesting. Very interesting. We're going to settle here for this campus, which means now we're required to settle there as well. So we're just now mapping this out. Thank you very much, Georgia, for just solidifying our plans there. One more turn. Machinery will give me crossbows for some very savagely strong ranged attacks on my cities. Lovely. Horsemen. Uh-oh. Georgia's not horsing around. We should be fine. Guilds is here, means we can now put craftsmen up. Got the settler card in. Natural philosophy is still doing really good, but we need town charters. This is a really good card because this is going to give us 14 more science as well as the extra gold, because don't forget, all of our adjacency on commercial hubs is currently giving us science because of the golden age. Okay, 18 strength. Some would deem that to be a problem. Not me, however. Not me, because I've now got a man at arms. Bam, 38 strength now. First iron unit. We are way tougher. And Pingala, now you're in. Go for connoisseur. Get more culture first, because culture unlocks other governor titles. You know, rush humanism. I'd like invention for infinite, basically infinite workshop points. Okay, that is a unique man at arms, which is a slightly worrying unit, but as you can see, the economy is still strong. You can now upgrade this volley crossbow, which also then upgrades to my city strikes. So we've got some really, really good defenses now. Okay, move you back, move you into the city to reinforce the strength. And now I've got the crossbow attacking. You will regret being near me. So we've unlocked stirrups, which gives us access to our knight. It's like a regular knight, except it has half the iron cost and it heals every turn, even if it moves or attacks. Very, very powerful. It's actually tempting because I could build a couple and then try and take a city over in a war. This guide was meant to be a little bit peaceful. I didn't really want to get sucked into attacking too much. I wanted to show you what a strategy looked like that involved more of a peaceful approach. But, you know, you can't deny that it's not a bad idea. Either way, we should probably make at least a couple. Canada looks like they're trying to move a settler in this direction. I'm going to just, again, do that thing with my merchant where I distract them for long enough to settle where I want to go. This double area over here is the place. That would be by far the best result for me to grab that if I could. We also want to continue settling around Canada enough so that when this alliance expires, I flick it away from a cultural alliance. Maybe to religious, economic, scientific, military, one of those. And then suddenly, bam, it will be hit by a ton of pressure. See if it works. We can't declare war on Canada just before anybody asks. They are our allies. And of course, that's just, you know, not how Canada works. Increase trade route capacity by 1. City-state trade routes now give me faith. That is a perfect merchant, and it really represents the switch we're looking to make from medieval to Renaissance. Once we unlock Visselbanken, as discussed before, we want to be moving away from internal trade routes, which are good, to external trade routes. Routes to city-states, but now would give Faith extra money, and with Visselbanken would provide the food and production we would need. If Canada settles here, it's not a problem. Here is a problem, so I'm just still using my merchant to stop the settler going up. That will interrupt this settlement. I'm going to be very, very sneaky here. My capital, still struggling with housing, so I'm going to just knock a wall up quickly, because don't forget, I am playing monarchy, which means I get a housing per level of walls. Probably should start to look to put classical Republic legacy in at some point as well. That would be handy. They're just attacking my units. That's fine. Holding a defensive position on defensive terrain, stopping them from really attacking me too badly. You can keep sending waves of units towards me if you want. It will not help you. Pingala, what great people is this city earning? Science and merchant points. You know what? Yeah, double great people points. That would give me another 2 merchant points per turn. It would help me to get Irene of Athens, who would give me another governor. Handy. She is a very, very good option if we can grab her. More workshops are being built as well. We are building not only to get the industrialization boost, but now we're almost at humanism. Every workshop I get is another 2 engineering points once I put that card in. So that's what I'm just trying to work towards here. And more trade routes. More trade routes are just going down everywhere. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna settle down here. That's fine. We can handle that. It's a good place to settle, and there are lots of armed units being sent to me. None of them are particularly strong, however, so we'll just let them be. Kill after kill after kill, we stand our ground, continuing to upgrade all of our tiles. This dam is going to give adjacency to the industrial zone here and the industrial zones here, and just create a giga production zone. We're on 200 production, and with a plus 13 bonus from a craftsman card, that should change quite quickly. Actually confusing them. Keep moving backwards and forwards, which is just wonderful. Now, I don't know if that archer will survive an attack from a man-at-arms with +4 combat strength and an advantage on hills. I'm going to suggest it probably won't, so we'll switch our units around whilst I do some damage with my ranged units. These things are incredibly tough. They're annoying. They don't really do too much damage to cities, but they are unit killers, which can be a little bit annoying. Before I settle a city, remember, have you got the builder card in? The answer to this is no. I forgot to change it the last time I earned a switch, which is annoying. So we'll put that back in now. It's going to cost us a little bit with not only production towards the settlers, but also gold to switch my government over. But there is Sanakush, who is actually going to start, ideally, the harbor as soon as possible, because I would very, very much enjoy Mausoleum if it's still available, which it is. Mausoleum is normally the first thing you want to build with Imhotep, and this game is no different. Okay, the temple is done in Alex Frost. We've almost got a temple done in Polo. The idea is any city with a campus wants a holy site as well, because I want the science from a campus multiplied by the righteousness of the faith ability that I have. 8 turns until this holy site is finished. Do I wait, or do I now just immediately pop the religion? No, I think I'm going to wait until I have 400 faith. Then I can develop my religion immediately, which would be quite useful. So I'm going to go to the international market, and I have been selling my iron, which, you know, is okay, but I actually need to buy some of it back, 6 of it back, so I can start to build some Mamluks. You want at least one of them. If you build anything that is a unique unit building district, you gain 4 era score. I want to be in a golden age for the rest of the game. I do not want to fall out of a golden age at any point. They're going to give me coffee for peace. I mean, that was such a rubbish attack. I want all of your luxuries. Sometimes they will actually give you multiples of luxuries that they don't even have multiple copies of, just because they're so desperate for peace. Yeah, go on, man. All right, well, we're not going to counterattack, but it stops me from having to worry about this new settlement, which I'm going to put down soon anyway. They are really getting confused by me moving, just keeping my merchant there. That's amusing. Oh dear, bless him. Okay, Armani, go back to the culture city state. We really do want this if we can get it. My next settler, I do want more to go down in this direction, but I'm just going to go and grab this area as well. This little archipelago has 2 copies of pearls as well as a horse, and would give me access to the right-hand side of the map if I wanted to go and settle, for instance, towards Australia. So we're going to go and grab that. So I was going to clear the stone, and then I realized that there isn't actually a huge amount of productive tiles around Interplanet Janet, so I've kept it for now, put a quarry down. I was going to chop it out to rush this commercial hub, but I don't think that's the play for me right now. There's Brantford. Okay, Brantford was settled. That's fine. Paitati has no loyalty, and it's because, yeah, just a normal age. So as long as Interplanet Janet continues to grow and we continue to put something down here, we should be fine. Another aqueduct, and there's the plus 10. That should have been in my capital. Never mind, City of Mandeltort is unexpectedly productive. And I've just realized something. Oh, I could have done something spectacular. Whenever you see a bend in floodplain like this with no resources, what you could do is this, a fidget spinner, where you put aqueducts into the middle with a dam. It is the perfect creation. Alas, I've already put this one down and probably this one. So it wouldn't be perfect, but maybe I'd want to still do this. Don't know. I kind of like having a bit of a canal city there. We'll see. France is probably going to settle that area before I have a chance to. I say a chance to. I would have plenty of time if I needed to. I'm just unlikely to move quickly enough. I'm tempted. I need to build a second harbor for the cartography boost. So I'm going to do it in Mandeltort, seeing as you've got all the production. Can't build it next to the city center, but what I can do is build it on this tile, which means I could potentially get commercial hub adjacency in other cities, and I've got +1 from being next to the fish. So it's better than nothing. Mass production, which unlocks the shipyard, a severely underrated building because it turns the adjacency of a harbor into production. Gold and production from the same district. It's so good. You really do want to utilize that as best as you can. Mamluk, it's our unique. Our cities are now a bit stronger. Don't particularly need it. We haven't had a problem with barbarians but I'll go and send it out to where this new settlement is going, just in case somebody proves to be out in that direction. Civil engineering boosted. That means we've built a lot of different districts, which is great. And we've got another industrial zone finished in my Pingala city, which means engineering points are going to be flooding in now. Keep the boost ready for cartography. So let's research instead military engineering. I don't think NITA is going to ruin any of my placements now. We're fine. And the housing has just been increased in my capital to get to 13 population. There's a reason I want to get there, namely because if I can build an entertainment complex on this tile, I will, for Colosseum-y reasons, and we continue to settle. The 10th city goes down, just like before. We start with our harbor, and we basically just chop it out. As you can see, we've actually managed to catch back up technologically. We're only 4 techs behind Canada, who's the lead that we know about. We've actually got more science per turn, so as long as we keep bouncing between Eurekas and making sure we're doing only things that we actually will benefit from, it should be fine. Now we've got some NITA. It's right underneath my builder. Love it. Some more there. Actually, let's just quickly grab that. And some more there, which we will grab naturally. There's plenty of NITA. That means we can use muskets, frigates, all of that sort of stuff if we should choose. Irene of Athens was taken by Canada, which is a little bit of a problem, but we gained 200 gold and an envoy. That's not the worst. And Marco Polo is the one we want. A 3 trader, 200 gold, 1 envoy. We're just building the envoys up as discussed for next turn. Now, that is my 3rd holy site complete. That means we now have 3 of them. So if I was to make a religion, it would spread to 3 cities. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Truly the last religion. And as discussed, work ethic and Jesuit education were the proper choices. There are other choices. If I was to just keep my religion in my lands, I could get Zen meditation, give myself 1 amenity per city. Not a very big bonus, but a reliable one. Religious community would also be quite interesting because I could make +8 trade routes from my Paitati city. But I think I'm going to go for Jesuit education, purchasing campus buildings with faith. That stacks nicely with what we've got already. And we need a faith building, so we're going to immediately start with Stupa. This is something that I would like to put in all of my cities, +1 amenity, keeping everything nice and happy. Found that religion. Please ignore all other religions. And as you can see, 3 cities already follow. Now, Pala can buy the Stupa for 35 faith, and it will give me another 10% science, culture, and faith per turn. Do the same over here. Really cheap buildings. That's what's going to slowly build its own buildings. But you can also see 500 faith for a madrasa. We're going to be saving up for that, but not before I get an apostle. And if we can get the debater promotion, I can start killing Australian missionaries. If I don't, I will start an inquisition, make a couple of inquisitors, and kill them that way. It's the quickest way of spreading my own religion. Humanism and cartography finished, or at least it's close to it because my 2nd harbor is done. I'm going to get rid of serfdom for a bit because now invention needs to go in. 4 extra engineering points and 2 to every workshop I have. I was on 8 points per turn. That goes to 12, 14, 16, 18. So we're more than doubling the engineering points per turn. Guberville doesn't even have its workshop yet. Was I lucky? I was. I have debater. There we go. Now we can attack these missionaries with some force. To help me, I'm going to unlock theocracy, which lets me purchase with faith and also gives me faith per citizen. Extra ways to generate faith when you don't have as many holy sites as maybe you would like. Finish cartography. We're not going to get a kill of the musket, but we then will go to industrialization and get those coal power plants as soon as we can. Well, Congress, I actually have a little bit of voting power this time. We'll vote for more ranged attack, just in case somebody attacks me. And I would love double engineer points because we're generating quite a few of those. No engineer points. It totally backfired. Never mind. It means we're not going to finish Imhotep, so I'm going to just spend the gold quickly to do that. That's possibly the worst option for me here because I really wanted to get as many engineers as I could now that I've got the card in my government. Invention is now perfectly useless for the next 30 turns, which means we're going to miss a load of engineers from the medieval era. Never mind. We adapt. We adapt. So I need to change my government quickly. Luckily, I left military tradition for myself. I can do that in 1 turn and change my government basically for free. My 11th city on the little peninsula, settling on desert to give myself a little bit of era score, but also a sprawling empire. 3 era score for that, which is perfect. I didn't get the builder charges. Alas, I could have waited till next turn, but looking around, there just wasn't many things to be getting here. So we'll do without for now. Okay, now we're going to switch around properly. Invention, a bit pointless for us now. Gothic architecture goes in and diplomatic league. So Gothic architecture means that I get 15% production. Oh, that's hilarious. Because I was at war with Tamir, I didn't get my points. Never mind. I get 15% production towards wonders. Now, Imhotep gives me 175 production, which is doubled if it's a classical era wonder, which is 350. If I add the 15% to that, it goes over 400. Just. So you can rush and one-turn wonders with Imhotep, as long as you have that card in. If you don't, tough. Oh, this is good. Campus gains 2 housing, 1 amenity, and I can get an extra, because this is 20%, not 40%. This is a typo in the game. 8% yields from being ecstatic and 4% from being happy. So that will be something that works really well for late game. We'll put this in my Pingala city just to encourage this to grow. Now, I get 1 envoy with the culture city-state and then 2 more. And this suzerains it, which gives me an extra 16% culture because I've got 8 great people so far. That will only go up. Also going to take over Samarkand so I can see where these missionaries are. I want to try and kill them if I can. That's a lovely route. Back to the capital. We like roads that make any sort of transportation around my kingdom easier. Now, Imhotep has 2 charges. Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, as you probably all know by now, gives all great engineers an additional charge. So if you use Imhotep to build this, it's a 3 wonder. It's also going to give me yields on all of the coast around this city, which is lovely, but mainly it's to get this wonder. This is just an amazing pick with Imhotep, and you can probably guess what's going to happen with my second one. Colosseum is still available. Swap that out, which is good. Alex Frost needs a bit more production. Now I've taken that from it. Let's give you another tile. Lovely. 3 turns. That's fine. We continue to settle. It's important to just never stop. We wanted to get between 12 and 15 cities this age. We are now on 12, so anything else we get is a bonus. 6 turns until the end of the age. It's actually quite handy. George is going to lose this city to loyalty before that point. So will Eleanor. Eleanor should lose that city to loyalty, especially if I treat myself to a granary and grow this city out just a little bit more, which is absolutely something I would love to do. Colosseum just got built. I knew as soon as I put this down it would get built. We were 2 turns away from finishing it. Again, sometimes you just have to say, okay, fine, not today. Well, instead, we're going to get Apadana. This is a 3 wonder effectively, and Entertainment Complex will still come in handy later. Apadana is 2 envoys whenever I build a wonder, including Apadana in this city. It's an amazingly strong wonder. Effectively allows you to get infinite envoys as long as you keep printing those wonders, which you do want to do. Another fun route. Still going for domestic routes at the moment. The transition will come in the Renaissance age. Which game am I playing again? This is Civ 6. We'll remember that, don't worry. So this is typically what happens in any deity game. You get flooded, literally, the turn that you finish the dam. Look, the dam is now finished, but I still took the damage. Just what happens. That's not a deity thing, by the way. That's purely a Ursa luck sort of thing. Okay, now Canada is going to be suffering from a loyalty penalty. Brantford is really struggling, so I will renew the alliance, but I'm not going to give you a cultural alliance. Instead, we'll go for a research. We'll offer a economic to France, and Georgia can have a religious, which is not giving a cultural alliance to anyone. So with that district, you can see all of my internal trade routes are now +1 food, which is good when you have quite a few of them. Apadana and build. 2 envoys when you build the wonder, including Apadana in this city, and not only that, we get some era score and 2 spaces for great works. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Taruga is mine, which means I get 5% science, each different strategic in a city. It's not going to give me a huge amount, but some cities have strategics, like the city of Mandletort. Lovely. Switch over to Reformed Church Theocracy. Town charters is good, but I'm going to lose that benefit very soon, so we'll preemptively take it out. Merchant Confederation's in now. I'd like Republican Legacy, but religious units gain 5 combat strength. I'm going to just pop that into my government briefly. Look, you can see we've lost quite a bit of science, and we're going to lose even more once we leave 3 inquiry, because our commercial hubs are no longer going to give me a bonus. Industrialization, though, huge step forward for me. 3 trader, Marco Polo. I believe that's the last of the medievals. It is. Oh, excellent. Well, we're about to get diplomatic service, so we're actually now going to change, and we're going to start looking for the most gold routes, and I believe all of the routes are going to start traveling from Leswit. We're moving from internal production to gold per turn. Gold per turn is incredibly useful. It's better for when you're going wide because you can just instantly purchase things around your empire. Now, people get obsessed with the idea that production production is 4 times as good as gold. Where does that come from? Well, the cost of anything in production, so 80 production for the watermill, tends to be 1/4 of the cost in gold. So you'd think, production is 4 times as valuable as gold. No, production can only be used in one city. So as long as you need something done in the city the production is in, it's really valuable. But if you've got a new city, like one over here or one over here, and you've just settled them, production doesn't do anything for you. That's where gold comes in really handy. If I took, say, 100 of this production and made it into 400 gold, or even 200 gold, I'd be able to start buying things like the lighthouses and traders and pushing a wide empire more. And that's the thing. Gold tends to be better as a wide resource, whereas production is better as a tall resource. It's not quite that simple, but it's pretty much that simple. Last charge is going to be Mr. Colossus. This Colossus gives us another trade route capacity. Off to Leswit you go. And as you can see, the trade routes are actually starting to run out, which means I can start to distribute them out. I'm going to start with any trade route with a city-state that's going to give me a quest, like Samarkand. That will give me an extra envoy. Then we're going to focus on sending them to Canada, because Canada is my science ally, which means I get 2 science from each trade route. That will become quite handy later. I've managed to catch a missionary off guard and kill it, which has helped to spread my religion to another city. That's how we're going to spread. That's what we're going to try and do. La Rochelle, Paitati have both flipped to independence. So even though we only got 12 cities, we'll get 13, 14 in this age. Perfect. Golden Age for Canada, not so good. We're not going to take any more cities. France has a normal, Georgia has a normal, so maybe we'll take more. But what are we going to do? I have Jesuit education. Jesuit education means I want to be spending my faith on science buildings. I do not want to be spending it on monumentality. Reform coinage would give me a ton more gold. Higsong Dracones would let me settle around the world more effectively. Exodus, however, lets me spread my religion. I've got a very late religion. I need that religion to be effective quickly. So all of my apostles now have an extra 2 charges. We're going to start by just picking one, seeing how many extra charges we can get. Spread my religions with as many of my own cities as I can. Keep an eye out for other missionaries that I can kill. And Vissel Banken, in you go. I'm going to put Republican Legacy in as well. We don't need Gothic architecture anymore. We'll go for another 2 gold from trade routes. No, we'll go for the settlers so I can start to produce those faster. It's for housing as much as the amenities that we're after that. But look, here we go. Now I'm getting production and food from my trade routes to Canada. We're going to start just pumping these routes into Canada's lands. They're going to be a very, very good ally of ours. Industrialization. Why is industrialization so good? A factory is the next building, and it gives 3 production, or 6 if it's powered, and that production goes to all city centers within 6 tiles. So, for instance, if I built a factory in this district, it would apply to 4 of my cities, which is cool. That's effectively 24 production. Now, it doesn't stack. You can't have multiple factories on the same city, but then it unlocks the coal power plant, which provides a production equal to the adjacency of the district. So a coal power plant would be worth 5, 6, or 10 production in these industrial city-states or industrial zones. However, I have craftsmen, which doubles that, and it counts. So the coal power plant would be worth 20 production in this city, 12 in this one, and 10 in this one. It's an obscene boost, and one we are going to enjoy. I'm also going to just start buying in these madrasas. They give me faith, and they're worth a lot of science. So bam, here we go. Printing boosted. We're going to really start to push the science up now. Did we get any coal? We did under a mine. That's good. We've got 1 source. We kind of need about 3 or 4 to make this work. Coal there. Coal on this tiny little island. That's going to be very difficult to get to. Wish I'd saved my merchant for that one. And there's coal up to the north. We need to explore the world and see if we can find some more sources to settle. Speaking of steam power, 2 extra movement for embarked units would be very helpful if I was to go and explore the map, but I guess I can use boats for that. So instead we'll go printing. I think Forbidden City's probably already been built. It's worth a look. There's apostle, information available, triple strength in other civs, 100. If I convert a city to mine for the first time, convert barbarians. I'm going to go indulgence vendor, use 2 charges, and then use this to make an inquisitor. Apostles. Easy to kill apostles, right? We're going to just watch these land, see where they go. Spread our religion. Come on, Mr. Debater, you'll be fine. Jebel Barkel. I built this because it gives 4 faith to all cities within 6 tiles, as well as some iron. So again, if we have a look at the range, you'll see it's 4 4 of my cities, so 16 faith per turn. Nice. This is the Australian land. Okay, lots and lots of missionaries making their way over. Interesting. Next place we're headed, by the way, is towards chemistry to unlock the research labs. You want to do this to get your final tier of campus building. They're very powerful. They need to be powered. They generally involve you heading sort of through the middle of the tree like this. We're keeping an eye on the fact we might need to build an armory, have the Enlightenment Civic, own 2 crossmen, bowmen, banks. There's a few things that we can do, but I think crossbows are probably the easiest one. Where are you? Bam, there you go, done. Very easy. I'm gonna buy myself a caravel, giving myself the era score for my first boat, but I just want to explore the islands around this coal. What's going on over here? Where can I settle? Where are the resources? How big are the islands? That's what I need to know. Launch Inquisition. This removes other religions from my lands really, really nicely. I've got 5 charges. 2 of them is all I need. One charge on every city. That'll be fine. And as you can see, the stupa is now for 3 because it's 90% off and I've got another 15. So it just gives it for me for 3. It's very good. Trading dome in my trading city. Each one of these gives +1 gold to all of my trading routes. Mercantilism means that I can now put lumber mills on rainforest and my camp improvements are better. The privateer is available now as well. Let's get enlightenment. This was another boost I needed, but we also want to unlock rationalism. And this is where we start looking to see, do I have 15 population in my cities? No, I don't. Do I have any +4 campuses? I have 1, possibly 2 in a bit. So we need to start working on these and making sure that we have as many as we can. So 1 Inquisitor can just remove religion, like so. We can start finding my religion spreading around my empire again. In terms of settling, by the way, by the end of the Renaissance era, I kind of want to be closer to 20 cities. So once we have the factory and the coal power plant finished in this city, we're going to look to go on a bit of a settler binge again. Triangular trade, I think is going to be better for me than Republican Legacy, not really helping at the moment. And serfdom goes in because I have a new city to make, which gives me the extra builder charge. More luxuries, more points for me. Start with the extra trade route. That'll give me era score for a +4 harbor as well. Lovely. Trade routes to Canada. More and more and more science from this city, including extra 10% stacking on top of those trade route bonuses as well. It's lovely. Now, Inquisitors are really good at attacking religious units, but only in your own land. This is outside of my land, so I can't kill it until I buy the tile like a really petty person, and then I can kill it and then spread my own religion. Ho-ho! Excellent stuff. Japan, the last person on the map with a little bit of dies, and luckily 7 cities, so they're nowhere near my 13. That's everyone. We have met everyone on the map, which means I get some delightful era score. Canada has no military, by the way. This is such a typical Canada run. It's just like, why would I have a military? Doesn't make any sense. I'm friends with everyone, and I sort of begrudgingly have to agree with that strategy. It's working fine for them. Because we've had such a large population, and because we've been able to put a lot of pressure out, I've just gained La Rochelle, which has Mashi Pishi. That is an incredible take, as well as this city, which has some bonus flood yields. Amazing. Each time I get 2-3 era score. That's just wonderful. So this is the city of Choco Gamer. Tired Plonker, putting me to 15 cities. I'm already starting to get that. We'll start on the commercial hub, which you'll now see is being boosted by the mountain, which is just great. It's wonderful. Polo is still making as many builders as possible. 7 charge builders are just centralizing from this space and then going all across my empire. Very effective. Madrasa, 185 science. That is the lead now. We have the most techs out of everybody. You can see we start slow. If you focus on the economy, you build and build and build and build. And eventually it all just starts to make sense. As much as it pains me to do so, because I love to see a strong Ella Aquitaine, I'm going to start buying some great works of writing from her to stop her loyalty pressure so much, but also to fill up my upper dana. They're cheaper than buying monuments and they give me the culture I need. Speaking of, I want to just make sure that all of my new cities have monuments. It's such an efficient gold to culture ratio. Just keeps you pushing through the tree. Stops anything untoward happening. Enlightenment. So the buildings in my +4 campuses will get 50% extra science. So I've got 1 here. There's a +4. I don't need that tile anymore. There's a +6 over here, which is huge, and a +4. So actually there's 3 of the campuses already getting the bonuses. We'll keep an eye on this. This bonus needs to be really, really, really high. I'm going to work on that for as long as we can. Now I'm going to go for colonialism and then natural history, which will unlock the zoo. This is a factory building that applies to 6 tiles and gives 1 amenity. It also unlocks the water park, which does the same thing with an aquarium. Now I've already got 1 entertainment complex right in the middle of my land. I was going to build Colosseum, and of course that didn't work. That will apply to a lot of cities. I could build another one over here, and then some water parks, say, in the lakes, which would do the same thing. Take the serfdom card out now, put religious combat that back in. We have an incursion of apostles. These need dealing with. So some inquisitors are going to step up and go through the fight here. By the tile, as we've been doing before. The inquisitor is not particularly strong, but now it is, because this follows my religion. We go for 1 attack and then 2 for the kill. Yes. And bam. Look at that. We're cleansing my land. Almost all of my cities follow my own religion now. Oh, it's perfect. Couldn't be any better. Coal power plants are also now being built. Lovely. Mogadishu. City-state that will boost all of my markets and lighthouses. So, yeah, I'm going to just drop an envoy with them. Another 20 gold per turn. Lovely. Another opportunity over here. My inquisitors. Movement is a little bit more struggling, but we should get the kill. No. Might be able to run away and escape, alas. All right, we'll try and hunt you down by the temple. Purchase in the stupa. Build a monument in 2 turns. More coal power plants. Production is now almost 400. It was starting to scale. I'm going to miss out on a couple of builder charges, so just wait to settle for a couple of turns until we put that card back in my government. The other thing we are trying to keep an eye on is making sure that we can get as many cities as we can to population 15 as possible. Now, population 15 is difficult, but it can be obtained once you hit replaceable parts. Replaceable parts means that farms, which by now can be built on hills, all give each other 1 adjacency on food. It really, really massively increases the amount of food you get. You basically just carpet the area and push the food in. You don't want to do it too early, obviously, but it is an incredibly effective strategy. Boom. I'm actually going to just bring my troops back to heal for a second and keep going through. Don't forget as well, every enemy city that follows my religion gives me 1 science. Now, I'll be honest with you, this amount, it's not enough to really be worth it, but it is quite useful. We'll try and use it. But I actually need to improve my religion. I'll start to get some apostles to do that now. City 16. This is basically a city whose sole purpose is to go and get that coal, which is a very, very important job. Very important job. One thing I do want to be a little bit careful of is that we don't build so many cities that our immunities start to disappear below 0. Now, I've got enough luxuries at the moment to hold a roughly content nation. If I start taking -10, -20% on all yields from being unhappy, or worse, you start to ask yourself the question of why? Why am I doing it? So, because we've got this city, and we've got this one, we've got this one, I think I'm going to avoid settling any further until, yeah, because I've got 16 cities. It's pretty good. I want to get to about 20, but I'm going to avoid doing it until I need to settle to get strategics, specifically coal. We're going to keep an eye out for coal on islands and in the distant lands worlds, and if we find some, then yes, we will absolutely go and take it. Just as a reminder, Hong Kong has some as well, which we are getting the benefit of. But if there's lots of luxuries, if there's lots of coal, we need a reason to settle now. I think that's what I'm trying to say. We're not pointless settling anymore. We've got a huge amount of cities in this big central ring. My factories, my zoos, aquariums, these are all nice and close to benefit everything. But we want to now drive towards getting ecstatic cities as soon as possible. It's very easy to do. You just need to do it right. Colonialism. Raj is actually a really good card. If we find ourselves with more diplomatic policies than we need, this improves the trade routes to city-states and gives you just a flat science, culture, faith, and gold bonus from every suzerainship. It's really nice, but colonial taxes is also good if, like me, you find yourself having settled quite a few places on a different continent, including actually all of my trade routes, which could be getting a gold bonus. Oh, now this banking's pretty good. I'm going to take religious orders off now and put this in instead. We're really focusing in on making these trade routes as good as we can. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good meal. Yeah, Republican legacy right now isn't going to make anyone any happier. We'll hold that one back just in case we need it. But now, still trading with Canada. Not all of these routes are the best routes, but they give me the best science, I think. Are there any ones that give better science? No, Canada's ones give the best science. I know I'm helping him with his loyalty. The more population he has, the more loyalty he'll have. But don't worry, my population will outgrow his. And later into the game, we can always attack Canada if we want. Can always betray. Now, was that turn 110 that we went to 100 science? It's only 30 turns later and we're now at 200 science. The building of momentum has now well and truly started. Long may it reign. I'm also now going to start getting a couple of spies, mainly to counter spy in my Magnus city and in my Pingala city. Both of these are going to be, unfortunately, targets for enemy spies to attack me. We don't want that. We don't want to have to deal with that. That's rubbish. Now to natural history. For built the water park. Remember to keep selling your strategics. Unless you really, really want to use your voting power, I would always recommend just keep selling the diplomatic favor. Look what it's worth. That's just worth so much more to your economy than any silly vote you're going to get on Congress. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Buy myself a chancery, some more influence points per turn. This just means that I generate envoys slightly faster, but I'm also going to get a tiny amount of science and culture. Essentially anything that I've got the 6 envoy bonus with, I now will start to get stuff. So actually I'm going to give myself a bit more production and a bit more gold as well. Lovely stuff. Watch my production. We're at about 420, but now the coal power will start, which means we start getting huge adjacencies. That's one thing, but also it starts switching the factories on so they give more power and production as well. So we just gained 40 production. That's 10% just from finishing one coal power plant, which is, it was just ridiculous. And I'm going to get myself the 2nd level of government plaza building. Now, intelligence agency is really good if we want to keep ourselves defensive or steal things like tech or city-state boosts. If you've watched this channel enough, you'll know that I rarely bother with spies because, quite frankly, they annoy me. I'm not going to really be stealing much tech from people because I'm sort of in the tech lead. I don't need to steal any great works and everything else, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess we could steal some gold per turn, but I think it's not necessarily worth it. The foreign ministry lets us levy city-states for half gold, which can be a useful source of era score. Grandmaster's Chapel lets us convert our faith into troops. To be honest with you, we don't want to do that because I'm using it to convert into science building. So actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go for the intelligence agency. I've actually convinced myself into it. Who would have thought it? Admiral. Ah, the one that always gets killed. He gives 5 combat strength as an aura effect, or you can just sacrifice him for a permanent 3 for everyone forever, which is quite clearly what you'd want to do. It's expensive, but this is coal I need to fuel my empire. More era score. Just keep remembering to make sure you've built one beautiful version of every single district. If you miss one, then you're missing era score. I think I've now done all of mine, so I've now got things for completely building everything in aerodromes, encampments, entertainment complexes, water parks. All of this stuff takes a bit of time. Religion, adopting all beliefs is something that I am now doing. Just been getting rid of this religion. In my perimeter cities, I'm not really bothering with too much industry. Once I've got the trade route, we work on campuses, and then I use my faith to make these good. More coal power plants. You can see I'm up to 500 production, so just with 2, we've gained 100 production across my empire. I'm going to celebrate by trying to build Angkor Wat, a wonder that gives 1 population in every city. Currently I have 106 population. It would just give me 16 straight population, helping to push certain cities to 15. I think it's a really, really good option, so we'll try and get that done. So once I've used the 2 extra spreads, I can move the apostle back to my own land and evangelize with it. I kind of want to just focus on a little bit of science at the moment, so we're going to go for cross-cultural dialogue. 1 science for every 4 followers of the religion. We're on 226. That gives me another 24 extra science. That's pretty good. And this apostle is just going to make things even better by spreading it to Canada a little bit, as is this one. Bam, more followers indeed. It's another 4 science just from that 1 battle alone. And looking at cities with a holy site and with a +5 campus, which is rationalism, we're going to then start praying in our madrasas. Even more science, up to 261 now. Australia actually has intel on me because they're trading with me. That's not good. Establish an embassy with them. Gives me 1 level. Ah, there we go. They've lost their combat bonus now. Okay. You're going to be attacking my unit. At least you're not going to kill it because it's stronger. Be rather sad if that was the case. Little casting. Need 2 banks. I'm, again, surprised we haven't got 2 banks already. I can start building a few. They have a lot of gold in them because, of course, they are boosted +4 by the gold city-states, which is lovely. Again, look at these lovely libraries. Boosted with faith. This is our religion now starting to really kick into overdrive. Investing in a 2nd caravel. I want to go and explore off this side of the continent now. Again, we're looking for coal and resources. Anything that I can sell. We're just selling everything we can. Everything that's not glued to the floor. Start to notice our diplomatic favor starting to plummet now. We are going to be emitting carbon. This happens whenever you use coal resource in any form. Coal power plants are particularly bad. It's just inevitable. We're going to flood the world. Our aim is to leave it before anyone notices. Spies. We're allied to most people. To be honest with you, there's not really anywhere that we can take them apart from fabricating scandals in city-states, which is tempting, but I think the first couple we're going to put on counter spy. 1 in Silver, 1 in Gooberville, our 2 most important cities. Done. It's given me another governor. Pingala finally has researcher. 288 science per turn now. Lovely. Lovely. I want the full boost from economics, so I'm just going to change the order of this slightly. Let's just do sanitation. I'm not going to build 2 neighborhoods. I don't know what neighborhoods are. Look for coal. Find me coal. There's got to be some somewhere. Or some awesome resources that we don't have. Fossil back and evangelize once again. You know what? I'm going to take Crusade. No one's taken it yet, and Canada doesn't have a religion, which means as I spread Crusade across, if I do want to attack Canada later into the game, which is going to be a bit of a problem because we're going to hit an alliance level 2, that would activate a betrayal emergency. It would give me options. I'm not planning on using it at this stage, but it gives me options, and options are good. Options are exactly what we need. Gee, I'm going to inefficiently buy this bank in. Instead, what I'm going to be building in Gooberville, my Pingala city, my main science city, is Kilwa. Kilwa is an amazing wonder that gains a boost if you have multiple of the same type of city-state suzerain. Now, that's unlikely to be a thing because the only one I know is the gold city-state, and that's very well protected, but Kilwa does give a 15% boost to science and gold and production because of the things that I have. So we'll try and build it. 9 turns, should be okay. Just depends if anyone else has started building it, which they might have done. If we make friends with everyone, so we're going to do by offering an embassy, giving open borders, and paying for it, which he's going to deem as a beneficial deal. He'll like me next turn. I don't need to have any counter spies because you can't spy on an ally. So instead, what I could do is move my spies into offensive missions on city-states and just make sure that all city-states on the map have been taken over. Cunning. Could work. We'll see how it goes. Madrasa. Again, just keep pushing it up. Every time we build one, we actually gain more faith to then build the next. So it's quite nice. All adds together. You know, I could get the boost to natural history because I do have a theater square now. All right, let's do that. I'm going to work on civil engineering instead. Sell a little bit of stuff. Buy in the amphitheater. Save the faith to then buy in the archaeologist's museum. Yeah, I think that's good. In the spirit of having spies that are freed up. Yep, off you go to Mogadishu. We're going to try and fabricate a scandal, forcing the top people of that city-state to lose envoys. It's a risky mission. It never pays off for me, ever. I'm warning you now, it will not work, but on paper, it should work, so we're gonna do it. Just you wait. Just you wait for it to all fail. Economics boosted. Okay, that will unlock the stock exchange. Very powerful gold building. Grants 3 envoys at the city-state. That's useful. We'll go over to Mogadishu, teleport to the nearest city, and then just take the boat across. It should be fine. More coal power has been finished. Amazing. Gee, let's just keep an eye on entertainment complexes. We need to make sure that all cities are covered where possible. So, you have a city like this. Do you need one? No. You work on a campus instead. Is there any campus that can be elevated to a delicious +4? Probably put something over here. Yeah, let's work on this. The builder stood by that, just literally put down the improvement and is like, why? Why did you make me build that if you were just going to get rid of it? What's wrong with you? Don't really have an answer for that. Second trading dome in the city with all my trade routes. There's another +1 gold on every single one. You have a lot coming out of the one city. It does add up, especially when you consider that we have a 25% bonus to gold coming out of this city. Okay, we've got a little bit of trade routes. So I would like more. And I would like more yields out of the routes to gold city-states. I mean, I don't really mind what comes out of this Congress, but I did get the trade route and 100% on trade routes to city-states. Amazing. Okay, we'll celebrate by making the trader immediately. Natural wonder tiles give me a solid amount of science. Darwin is always welcome to boost something through. Mendeleev would be good, but I think I am going to get the bonus for chemistry, which is to have a level 2 alliance. Doing that to Canada literally next turn, so not so important that one. There's a natural wonder with 2 adjacent tiles, which means it would be worth not 500 but 1,000. And I'll just look at the map now and see if there are any other bigger natural wonders. It is possible to have wonders that are possible to walk on. Those ones are better. No, I think the short answer is we're going to take the 2. Off you go. Now the Congress is finished. We are finally going to start getting some actual great engineer points. So do I put back in invention? This is the question. Visselbanken, food and production for all of the routes going from Leswit. They're good, but it's not what I need right now. Let's put invention in and we'll start to just push these engineers as fast as we can. Archaeological museum. There's natural history. We can now build water parks, zoos, and other useful buildings like that. So it's exactly what we're going to do. We made peace with Japan. Okay, that's good. We have an alliance with every single person on the map. There's only 6 of us. So my spies no longer need to counter spy. We can do something else. It's basically just city-states. I think the most competition we have is with Georgia on the culture city-state. So we'll go there and we'll do exactly the same thing. Try and disrupt. Chemistry boosted. There's the level 2 alliance. Level 1 alliance gives you simple science on trade routes to the ally. And every 30 turns, we just get a random Eureka. But now, 10% science when you or your ally are researching a tech for the other has completed. That will be next time. Actually, no, we've just gained the Eureka every 30 turns. Okay, cool. It was a little bit difficult to read that one. I built a siege tower because this upgrades into something quite good later in the game. So we're just using that now. Darwin gives us 1,000 science. That will just completely finish sanitation and then go through replaceable parts where we can get our mechanized farming and try and boost as many cities as we can to 15 population. It's possible. If you believe enough, anything is possible. Valletta. That's a new city-state. Okay, my spy can probably move there. Valletta is an amazing pick because I can use Faith to buy city center buildings, and one of the city center buildings we can buy, not just walls and monuments, is actually the flood barrier, which is a funny building because it says base production cost is 80. Because of that, the Faith cost for it is 160 because there is 2 Faith for every 1 production. However, the more flood barrier in a city, aka the amount of tiles the flood barrier is needed on, multiplies the production cost, and also the severity of the flooding makes it worse as well. So a flood barrier might start at 80 production, but it could easily get to well over 1,000 if you've got multiple tiles to protect and flooding's bad. But the Faith cost never gets worse, which is really good. Valletta can simply prey up seawalls and you will never be hit by global warming. I've got 143 turns at the moment to sort that out, but that is well worth keeping in mind. Niccolo Machiavelli. Not sure I would necessarily want a book by that man, but sure. Typically, that city-state has just been taken over. Tamir can put 2 envoys every time because she has an ability where if the city-state follows her religion, it just simply is absorbed really quickly. So we just need to keep an eye on that one. I'm just going to rush a Theodore. I don't want France to pick a Theodore up. Now we'll go to Renaissance era and we go straight to Filippo. Okay, so again, this is really good. We want to keep Invention in. Invention is too good a card. More madrasas. Now that I've got Pingala, I could get Curator or Space Initiative, but no, Magnus, I'm going to give you vertical integration. We're going to start with Industrialist to make the coal power plant even more efficient. But this means that all of the factories around my capital will all start to stack and we're going to get a lot more production. It's an amazingly effective ability. Candy. That doesn't look like a Japanese city. One might have been taken over, don't you think? There's Angkor Wat. 1 population in all cities and +1 housing for them to go in. And that's 15 population. So if Silva had a campus, then that would work really well. Look at that. The happiness is starting to unravel though. Lots of cities have -1 amenities, which means they're now getting -10 penalty on all yields. It is not good. We need to start combating that, which is good. The zoo is going to be finished in my capital. We need to start thinking about water parks. Replaceable parts is done. Chemistry and research labs. This is where we see a huge spike in science per turn. Another city I would like to get to 15 is my Pingala city. So I'm now going to start sending routes to Canada from this city. We're going to have Visselbanken back in a bit. The trade routes are now going to go from that city, not just from Lesbeth. Okay, cool. Let's start fabricating scandals. This caravel is completely stuck. It can't get via the ice cap there. Can't get via the ice cap there. So we're going to have to wait until the ice to melt before finding whatever we need to. Military science boosted. 1 turn from chemistry. And the zoo is finished, which has given me just a tiny amount of happiness. Building up, again, lighthouses, markets in all the cities to keep the trade routes going and happy. You can see we've got 17 trade routes available and 16 cities. So we're just about running a trade route per city, which is kind of where you want to be. Trying to rush through Patala Palace. We should be able to use Felipe to do that. And I'm also making Big Ben. Both of these wonders come with increasing size government policies, which will mean that I can get more stuff into my governments and try and become happy again. In Civ, the bigger your government, the better your empire will do. Simple. There's Kilwa. 15% extra science in my Pingala city. This is going to start stacking incredibly nicely. I would like a holy site here to give the extra 10%. I don't really need the adjacency on my holy site, to be honest with you. I'd rather keep all these good tiles around the Matterhorn free. And I was wondering, why has my science disappeared? Well, it's because Canada has abandoned his alliance, but we've just renewed it. Okay, that's better. I was wondering why all the yields had gone. Where have all the yields gone? They're there. They've always been there. Start building research labs. Or, no, Mandeltort, I need you to start thinking about building a water park, which would be in range of 10 cities there. Oh, that's really good. Yes, please get that water park finished. Bought some more books from Eleanor of Aquitaine. Again, just stopping her from getting too much momentum. Difficult to do, but important we try. Now we're looking for high adjacency campuses in cities that are in range of power stations like like this one. We're going to start buying the research lab. Bam. Huge amount of extra science. We will continue to work that now. So the letters on the map. So I'm tempted to rush computers to get the flood barrier going, but it's not necessarily the best thing for me to do. I also want to get to rocketry. So let's go flight, steam power, radio. We can do steam power, 2 shipyards. That's easy to do. Toulouse is losing loyalty. You are going to Toulouse this city. What a shame. Envoys at Mogadishu. And let's start by going 1, 2, 3, 4 with the letter and going bam. Actually gives me a luxury we haven't got. Circumnavigates the globe. And look at this. The letter has possibility of getting to coal. Oh, we need to send envoys to the letter. That's interesting in order to just flesh that out a bit. Very nice. Or we guess we take over the letter. There are merchants that do that. We'll have a play. Let's buy. Off you go. Or suddenly there are a lot of apostles in my land, which I'm not keen on. Keep an eye on those, I think. A water park. I've been saving my gold to be able to go Ferris wheel and then aquarium, and that should hopefully just about fix my happiness across my empire. We'll let that just think about it for a second as I continue to use my faith to buy research labs. So I use my gold to get another one here. 409. Accelerating. Felipe, more wonder production. Get in here and finish Patala Palace. 1 diplomatic policy slot in my government. Colonial taxes is really good. Machiavellianism is fun. Raj is okay, but Visselbanken is the card that I have been missing substantially. So we'll pop that back in. You can see the aquarium, by the way, has knocked my cities back to being content. So we've got a significant chunk more. But now Leswit and Gooberville are going to be very kindly growing for me again. Look at this. 30% modifier on my science at the moment. 15% from Kilwa, 15% from Pingala. Well, we can improve that. There's a shrine, there's a temple, and there's the stupa. Now we've got a 40% bonus. Keep the percentages going. Now I just spent all my gold. Big Ben will increase any gold I have in the treasury by 50%. I am notoriously bad at remembering to not spend my gold before that. So just know that should have been done. Vertical integration. Okay, now my capital, if we just let that run through, you can see we're gaining 18 production from factories. It means 3 factories are in range. Alex Frost will provide another soon, as well Parla, if we can sort the growth of that one out as well. My aim with the civics tree is now to get to either communism or democracy as soon as possible. Democracy is really good for trade routes. Food and production means that you can get some crazy abilities to build spaceports. Communism is good for internal routes because of the 2 production and 4 food from collectivization on domestic routes, and it gets 10% extra science. Personally, I like democracy because of the New Deal. 4 housing and 2 amenities to all cities with 3 districts. Well, that's kind of most of the central ones now. But, you know, there's a few civics to go before we get there. Work on urbanization now. Another 2 envoys. We've now got 5 to use. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, which means that I've got 15% extra gold across my empire now, which helps quite a bit. 2,600 gold. That's a respectable amount. That's 1,300 spare, and an economic policy slot that comes from Big Ben. Just remember to pop it into something before you then go and do anything. You know what? Everyone's happy. The time has come to finally put rationalism into the government. Now, this always lies to you slightly. It's always a little bit more than you think. 50% extra science from buildings and campuses if the population is 15 or higher. So there's only a couple, if not one city that's got that. But the district of +4, we have worked on that just a little bit. So hopefully we'll see a big boost. 467 science. That's pretty decent. As you can see, we're only 1 tech ahead of Canada, but we're now beginning to pull away from the pack substantially. We're now 12 techs ahead of last place. Normally, it's the AI with those sort of bonuses, so we'll take it. Just keep buying research labs. Don't think about it too much. And I do need culture, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 and take this culture city-state back. The spy will reinforce it later, but we're working 30% extra culture now. Huge improvement. Massive improvement. As we go, we just continue to make research labs whenever our faith allows, but we're starting to focus on happiness. Another 20% of our science would be now another 100 science per turn, so I do want to get that if possible. Would be very, very good indeed. I mean, Ruhr Valley would also be quite useful. A lot of extra production in my capital. You know what? Go on then. I'm not settling right now. It's quite good to have another factory and coal power plant. This is another projection of production on the other side of my empire. That's what we're doing. Gold is accumulated. Gold equals science. Gold equals production. And the numbers just keep growing up and up and up. There's no need to do any domination at the moment. France is still losing cities to me. Even Canada is going to really struggle with loyalty. As soon as we've got our happiness sorted, which we will as soon as we become not only democratic and unlock the New Deal as before, but we're also course, we're going to go to professional sports, which will unlock a stadio, 2 amenities from every city, and aquatic centers and stadiums. That's the point that we then begin to settle wildly again. People always get into the, I think, trap with science that, you know, core cities will have campuses and you'll go, oh, I've hit like 300-400 science. There's nothing really I can do. I'm stuck. No, that's not quite true. Every city needs a campus, like as many as you can. You need the quantity. They all need research labs and they all need to be working towards +4 and 15 population if possible. You won't get that with all of them. It's true. You'll get that with more than you think. City-states are being taken everywhere, but my spies will hopefully start to help with that. Keep working on my spies over and over and over again. I do have one more spy slot. The more we get them working, the better. Conservation will unlock naturalists. National paths effectively give you 6 amenities, 2 in the city they're built in and 1 in the closest 4. But remember, don't really worry about that too much. Amenities will spread around your empire fairly easily, so it sorts itself out really. Aluminium, useful resource for space later on, so we want to make sure that we are improving all sources of that we can. Looks like that's pretty easy to improve. Yeah, it's good. Okay, we'll get a builder to do that soon. An admiral that gives me a 3 ironclad. Now that is useful. Don't particularly need the ironclad though. What I really need is the 1 coal per turn that the ironclad has now given me. We'll delete that unit now and we'll keep the coal per turn without needing to pay the cost of it. Now Da Vinci gives me 3 culture for every workshop twice. That's 6, which is lovely. We need that culture per turn, seeing as my city-states keep getting stolen. Reveals oil. Now that's quite useful as well. Another research lab up to 575. Look, we've really pulled away from Canada now. That's good because rocketry will be unlocked soon and we can start getting our spaceports down, which is the next major step. Electricity and ballistics are now boosted. We have 1 source of oil that's underneath a city. Okay, well, this is now really good to know because, I mean, it looks like oil-wise we have some, but it's mostly offshore around our land. So we start looking to the islands. Where is going to be good? There's aluminium to the north up there. Oil in the far north. Loads of oil offshore in this direction. Yeah, actually, there's huge swathes of it. So there are places to settle. Okay, cool. Well, more settlers will be needed soon then. Here's the industrial zone. Industrial era, I should say. Fabricate scandal failed. Love it. I told you, it doesn't matter what I do with spies, they will continually fail. Canada, Dark Age. Okay, Brantford is now falling away in loyalty. Halifax is barely loyal. St. John is barely loyal. And we can continue settling around here. There is some oil I'd like to claim, so we will send 1 settler down there. This is excellent news. So, Reform the Coinage gives me a ton of extra gold. But Heartbeat of Steam gives me production equal to the science adjacency on my campuses. Currently, because it tells me how much adjacency I've got, we will be getting 76 extra production, which is a lot of extra production. But I would prefer the gold. Reason being, gold can be spent anywhere, including my new cities. Production is limited. You get another 200 gold per turn. I think that's worth it. I would rather have gold than production, which makes me a little strange, I know, but there is logic here. Briefly, I'm going to get rid of invention again. We're going to go back to public works. Why? Well, I have a plan. That plan is to farm everywhere. There's quite a few cities that are near 15 population that aren't quite there. So we're going to start putting tons of farms around and really force the population up. So starting in those cities that are on the cusp, like the city of Mandletort, Choco Gamer, all of these need a little bit of cultivation. And remember, this aquarium got a decent range, hits quite a few of my cities. Let's pop it down. Lovely. Between this one and this one, most of my cities will be getting those extra amenities now. Well, they say if something doesn't work, just keep doing it over and over and over again. So let's try and fabricate another scandal. Toulouse will flip to me now. Rouen? No, not so much. Grenada's kind of flipping. No, it's basically just Canada that's got the real loyalty problems here. Next one we need. Satellites, that's the next project. So over we go. Advanced flight and onwards. Just changing to ballistics so I can get 2 field cannons for Scorched Earth. Again, every boost we can get is a good boost. Would you stop trying to convert my cities? This is very, very annoying. I'm just not going to do it. My religion is too sad. So this city-state is the most important one because the culture is obscene. Another 60 per turn, we need it. And we're going to start building spaceports. Ideally, we need as many as we can get. We need one spaceport in our production hub in order to run the projects, but ideally we want as many as possible because later into the game, not only are there science boosters we need to run to make the science victory quicker, but there's also a civic that gives you power and aluminium for every single rocket site that you have, and we really, really want to take advantage from that. Field cannon 1, field cannon 2, a 3 bank and a market. Oh, don't mind if I do. Breathtaking neighborhood. That's the boost to conservation. I'm just saving up my faith to look at national parks. Now, I've got so many mountains around. I'm pretty sure national parks, I should at least get a few of them, but we'll see. I'm also now trying to flirt with the idea that my cities, if I can make them happy and get the 10% yield bonuses, we can get more science if we just have the science cards in full stop. But a lot of them are still on 0 immunities, do you see? So even if I was to slap in liberalism and Republican legacy, I don't think I'm going to push my empire to happy just yet. So we're just holding on that. We'll come back to that later. Spaceport, spaceport, spaceport. There's a few being built. It's looking good. And as you can see, yep, there we go. We had a spy killed. So 2 spies so far with a 63% chance of success, and both died. I can't tell you how typical this is for HUZZAH luck when it comes to spies. I just don't know what it is. This seems to be a very normal part of my game. The most useless engineer in the game, culture bomb when making industrial zones. I think I can count on one hand the number of games where that's been genuinely useful, but it's the meme. He's the meme, so it's fine. Valley, 20% production in the city. 1 production for each mine and quarry and conservation. Some very lovely changes. Silver's now on 141 production. It'd be even better if we could make this city ecstatic, which we will continue to try and do. Ton of envoys have been restored though, which means I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Take back either the gold city states for 15% gold. Take back Taruga for the percentage science in my Kilwa city, and then hold on to the rest of the envoys. By that I mean 1, just in case. Just in case. Back towards democracy, which I need to boost by picking up some sewers. There are going to be some cities that are struggling with housing more than others, like this one. Sewers are very, very expensive, but the democratic boost is, in my opinion, worth it. Here's another one with benefit. Another one over here. Finally, Pingala City, because when I can, there's the suffrage boost. Lovely. The Stupa. More science. Excellent. Toulouse. Another city. A city I think isn't great at the moment, but it has a lot of potential, especially because Petra hasn't been built yet. We'll work out what to do with this one very soon, I think. Satellites. Second space project unlocked, as well as a solar farm for a bit more power to take the edge off our coal consumption. That'll be very nice indeed. My first national park will be going down as well. Oh, that's kind of Canada. They've settled right where I was going to. Lovely. We only have 19 turns before the flooding begins, so quick beeline across the top of the tree to unlock computers and the flood barrier. Valletta is on the map, so we'd like to get this as soon as possible. First national park. There we are. Excellent. This is the sort of thing I need. Look at the farm fields here. You see, now when I look around the most distant cities of my empire, they are saying +1. So this is now the time we swap. We're on 624 science. If I get rid of public works and rationalism, but put liberalism, Republican legacy, and that's it for now. Put those cards in. Hopefully, yep, look, you see that? Quite a few of my cities have hit happy, and we've gone slightly above on science. So now we're starting to get those 10% yields on all of my specific resources, which is just great to see. A couple more national parks and we will solidify that in. Pingala, Space Initiative. Good to have multiple places that we can build a space project. You want to give yourself options, you know? 3 cores in my military to mobilize. We should be able to do that with the units that I've got. Maybe. No, actually, I don't have enough units. It's amazing. All right, cheapest units I can get. I'll buy a few troops to make that happen. I think it's worth it. I mean, maybe it's not, but it feels like it is worth it because we just need to push through the trees as quick as possible. Do not let the AI at any stage catch up with you. You have player focus. That's your big advantage over the AI. Don't get distracted. Do what you need to do. I'd like more grievances against me. We'll make units cheaper and keep my diplomatic favor for now. Production, Saladin. Yeah, okay, good. Another national park. We should be really on the cusp now of being happy absolutely everywhere. Core and core. Perfect. Until I take over Valletta computers is worthless, so I'm just going to move off it to try and get the boost. 2 trebuchets, we've teched past that unfortunately, but we've got boost, 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 and then it's build an oil well. Have 3 armies, build 2 aerodromes, build an oil power plant. Yeah, there's stuff we can do here. A national park right in the middle of the empire, lovely. My alliance with Japan has just expired, which does give me an option to try and attack Japan. A late game war with bombers is normally a really good idea, and as you can see, there are quite a few campuses around here. Japan is the only person that we don't have a level 2 alliance with. Any one of these will trigger the disaster, the emergency, but Japan won't. So I mean, I could just claim all of this land. Yeah, I'm gonna let that one expire. We don't need this alliance up. No, stop asking. What do we need to invade Japan? Well, some aerodromes, some aluminium, some planes, and as we take across, some aircraft carriers. It all helps. Every time I build a new campus, we can just immediately pray in the buildings all the way through, give myself the boost we need. And as you can see, look at this, we have an ecstatic city and mainly happy city. So everything is beginning to get better. My gold is my strongest asset as well. So we're going to start putting points into Reina. Reina has an ability where you can simply insta-purchase districts. Should be very handy. We'll do that. Now for the ideology, commercial hub and harbor districts being put into a single policy is amazing, as is campus and industrial zones, but it's democracy. Democracy is the one I'm really quite excited about. So the 15 population is working in some of my cities, and we're starting the process of making others. I'm just re-putting down farms everywhere we can. It will work. Once democracy hits, we'll have a lot better luck with it as well. Let me guess. Another spy has been detected. Ah, this one actually worked though. Mogadishu has had some envoys stripped from it, so it's a little bit safer now. Okay, brilliant stuff. Oh, I feared for a second we were going to have another disaster, but no, we are not. I do need to build another spy because, you know, the last one did get killed, which is unfortunate. Now, there is a technique in Civ called spaceport chopping, where you wait until you get right to the end of the game, into your repeatable projects, and you keep all of your chops, your deer, your woods, your rainforest, your stone, anything that can use a chop from a builder to rush phase projects. Now, I'm not going to be doing it this playthrough because I can never be bothered with it, but just be bearing in mind that it is sometimes a really good idea to save stuff like that. I personally would just rather reveal the world quicker and go at a regular pace, but we'll see. Just know that it is a strategy. It's a strategy people use, and it's a very good one. 1, 2, 3, and the letter is mine. So because it's one turn, I am just going to finish computers, and we can force ourselves to get the flood barriers, saving a bit of faith for that. Oh wow, my coal is just being ransacked here. I need to get some other sources of power, or until that point, just buying a little bit of coal from other people. It's expensive, but it just hits the supply. For now, I think all of these other people, we're just going to continue the alliances, especially our alliance with Canada. Those trade routes are worth about 50 science per turn, which is not an inconsiderable amount. So we're going to start in the capital, and because we have the letter on side, we're going to pray in the flood barrier. These do cost a considerable amount of gold per turn for every single tile they protect, but trust me, you want them. You start losing things into the sea, you just, I mean, you get annoyed because normally it's very expensive districts and my source of coal. The game will be trying to reabsorb the coal to stop me from polluting. There's a campus there I just protected. All of these tiles are just protected. That's crazy. Yeah, very nice indeed. Combustion. Now we pick up aircraft carriers, the 3 armadas and armies thing. Again, I thought I'd get around to doing this, but never did. But I would like the boost, so we'll start work on that. We'll buy a battleship and make it into a battleship armada. Santa Cruz, very fun admiral, that one. Triggers the Eureka for computers and lets you build more districts. Actually, that's really handy in my capital, is I can build another district, a campus, which I have been meaning to build for some time. Capital hasn't had one. Ah, now aerodrome. Start making some planes. Need a little trick. I've unlocked tanks, but I want to build a cuirassier, so we're going to just sell all of my oil. And now when I go back into the menu, they should appear. No, I've made them obsolete. It doesn't work. Okay. I'll buy a tank instead. Make a field cannon in a second. Okay, cool. That's fine. We're almost there. Just need one more unit around here. There is the Earth satellite. We've just seized a city from Canada as Canada's empire gets smaller and mine gets bigger. The first space project on turn 192. Very nice. Let's go for more aluminium and oil and more coal just to try and work that a little bit better. 5-year plan is great. The amenities, triangular trade. We do like triangles. I think that's the best. There's a bank and colonial taxes. Yeah, all of that That looking lovely for now. Brentford, oh, welcome. Ah, you've got an entertainment complex. Oh, handy. Very handy. And let's get the arena, the zoo. Just need to spread my religion there. Windsor is now falling over. St. John is now falling over. Halifax is now falling over. Oh dear. A spy has got backed. None of these are very good. But we'll siphon funds. We'll send them back out. Democracy. Mitigated floods. Are there anything better? There's not much better. Another campus, library, madrasa, research lab, and now an aerodrome. Speaking of, we've got half price building of units right now, so let's start the bombers. We have 9 aluminium per ton, so we can have quite a few of these. Gee, hang on. Moon landing first, then the aerodrome. Another madrasa, another research lab, up to almost 800 science per turn now. There's plastics and suffrage. We're going to switch now to democracy. So liberalism is probably the weaker of the amenity cards that we have in our government. So we'll take that out. Instead, we're going to put New Deal in. 2 amenities to all cities with at least 3 districts. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. You know what, actually? Put liberalism to start with and rationalism, and we'll take them away as we need to. We're also going to put Raj in to push that science as high as it goes. And let's see, 934. It says that not all of my cities are ecstatic. I don't believe it. I believe that will sort itself out in a second. Now professional sports for Estadio, stadiums, and aquatic centres. 162 production in Gooberville, 221 in Silver now. You know, actually, I'm going to stop you doing this. Get the moon landing in my second city. My capital? Well, now we can start pushing settlers out really like crazy. I'm going to go and settle nearer Japan so that I can use it as a staging post. A relatively low adjacency industrial zone. I'm also going to now convert to oil power just to take the coal cost down a little bit. Using quite a lot of coal per turn. I can't afford to keep that up. My first plane. Many more of those, please. More buildings. More of them. To take the coal bill down a little bit, but also to start grinding through some engineers, because we're going to start getting some really good engineers in the next stage, including Robert Goddard, Shah. These are fantastic. And then Atomic Era. We're going to start now running industrial zone logistics. Now this gives me engineering points, but also gives the city full power. So it doesn't need powering with coal, which is very useful indeed. Professional sports, there we go. Almost instant, endless happiness. So now I imagine every single city in my empire is going to start being incredibly happy. So we can go on a settling binge once again. We can also start taking cards like liberalism out, which means we're going to have a space in our government. So I'm going to go quickly to nuclear program to gain science foundations. Tons of great scientists and engineering points in this one. Very useful for me indeed. Where am I going to settle? Well, somewhere I can bomb Japan from. Let's start here and then cross the ocean. John, Jacob, Asta. 2 more envoys and some gold. Don't need them right now, but we will do soon. We'll start putting down some ski resorts. These give 1 amenity each. Again, we're just really pushing in now to make sure that we stay ecstatic as I start to settle everywhere. 1,000 science achieved on turn 200. Very good indeed. There's a stadium. I've got 1 settler going there, which means I'll have 1 settler going over here. That's all I'll need for now. So, oh no, what am I saying? More nanotechnology. The next project is ready. This is the 4th project, but I don't know whether or not the booster is here or here. We're going to just work towards it to see how lucky we get. We might need to go to a lot of a tech tree. We may not. Just depends on how lucky we are. Alan Turing and James Watt. Factories providing 2 production is very handy. She builds up the production in my capital because I've got multiple factories being popped into this city. Ah, another market. I had a spare trader from the World Congress for some time. I can now actually put them down. Brilliant stuff. There goes the moon landing, which gives me a 1-time culture bonus equal to 10 times my science per turn, which is 10,000 culture. Lovely stuff. Nuclear program is finished immediately. We don't need liberalism anymore. Science Foundation goes in, and actually Republican legacy, I'm just going to flirt with getting rid of that as well and put invention back in. How does that look? Oh, we're on the cusp. We can push that through. I'm pretty sure with a spare aquatic center that should make us happy again. Now we want to go to social media for the extra culture per city-state I'm suzerain of collective activism. International Space Agency is pretty good with that. It's 30% of both yields because I have 6 city-states involved, which is lovely. There's the Mars colony. And remember this, 35 engineering points and 68 scientist points per turn. You were about to see something a lot bigger than that. Our spy was killed again. Damn. We only had one successful spy operation this entire game. Joy. Absolute joy. I can put cryptography in now. That would, in theory, increase my spy operations by 1 level. Raj is better for me, but now the spies are becoming somewhat of an annoyance. So we're going to go and work on that. Quick diversion into Royal Society through my capital. This means I can use 7 charge builders to rush my space projects, which is a brilliant thing. Look, another spy. Mogadishu killed it last time, so let's just keep going back again and again and again. I refuse to learn. That's the best bit about Ursa, just the refusal to learn. Lessons? What are lessons? Look at this. 18 cities, 16 research labs. It's a pretty good ratio, I think. Integrated space cell. Need a military academy or a seaport in order to get 15% production. And I suddenly realize I don't think this city has either, does it? Nope, totally pointless. We'll take that card out next turn. Social media. I mean, cryptography, I'm sorry. You've got to go. As much as I'm enjoying having you around, you got to go. 106 and 164 great people points for engineers and scientists, by the way, just in case you were wondering how much it helped me last time. There's another city flipping from loyalty. Windsor this time. There's some flood barriers because I've got a wheel here. We don't mind these cities at all. There's even a settler here, a barbarian settler. Let's get that. Off-world mission. There's the booster projects, but not the actual 4th project at all. So we've got to unfortunately dip here and here. This is quicker to get to. So we'll work this one through now. Tax collector, contractor. Okay, gold can now be used to buy districts. Quite expensive, but things like aerodromes are not. Water parks, encampments, entertainment complexes, theatre squares, the ones I haven't built enough of. They are really cheap, so let's keep an eye out for that. City 20. Immediately pray in the walls, and suddenly the city is perfect. 3,600 gold stolen from me there. I wonder who could have done that. Okay, fine. Well, my spies are going to be useless. I need to probably start getting them back into my empire. Build aerodrome there. Move bombers out. We have a few of them now, and we're going to have even more as I continue to forward settle over and over and over. Raina, do me a favor. Keep moving forward. You changed my mind. I changed my mind. Look at this. It says it's low on loyalty, but Raina, nope, you get over here and make sure this is all mine. It's a great forward station. Halifax has fallen. That's a big city. There'll be a really big win for me there. Oh, poor Canada. Poor Canada. What a dark age does to you. Instant wonder production. To spend gold for a wonder, but it's a good thing to have. Gonna preactively denounce Japan. Get ready for that one. There goes the Mars colony. We just need to find the 4th project and we'll be able to get there nicely. Globalization gives us the beautiful e-commerce card, 2 production and 5 gold from all trade routes. And International Space Agency, which I'm going to put instead of invention. Oh yeah, that's a lot more science per turn. Now I'm going to switch to synthetic technocracy, 30% production towards all city projects. That includes space projects, which would be a nice boost for me. Moksha is now coming in for exactly the same reason that Rainer is here, just to be able to provide more spaces for me. And I'm now starting to build aircraft carriers. Lovely. Japan declared war on me. Well, specifically, I think he declared war on Australia. Oh, giving Australia double production. You don't want to do that. Dear, oh dear. Canada's finally in a heroic age, but unfortunately, you've sort of missed that one. Well, there's no point in 2 arms, which I've been looking forward to. The war's already been declared. So again, I'm going to keep gold. It's better than production in this instance anyway. Oh, here go the aircraft carriers. Load up the bombers. We're going across the sea. It's going to be good fun. More oil. That is exactly what I need. Oh, but there we go. This is a good lesson to learn. If you settle on a flooded tile, you can't build flood walls. Whoops. Hey, do you like, what would you, no? Not that I would ever do this, but what would you give me for this city? 22 gold per turn. Yes, there you go. Look at that. It's not my problem anymore. Lovely. Trade routes to me, please. Trade routes, city-states, and diplomatic points. I'm going to give this one to Australia. He has all the points. I might as well just piggyback off that. That has tried to flood about 4 times now. I'm glad I've got that dam in place. Nuclear fusion is a wonderful sight. Seasteads, oh, it's not what I wanted. Come on, be the one I need. I'm waiting, being incredibly patient. And the bombers have spotted the first target, which they won't take very long attacking and killing. Neither will this. The air superiority game is incredibly important. Grab it as soon as you can, really. Well, hey, the spy worked this time. The spy is in home territory. Enemy spies operate 1 level below usual. That's amazing. If I'm going to send you to Japan, I need a master agent such as yourself. secret agent, as I should say, to get myself +6 combat strength. What do we do with aircraft carriers? We make sure the bombers in them have fired, and then we use them to kamikaze into cities, taking them. That's the best way to use aircraft carriers, as we all know. Nope, advanced AI. Okay, we've got to unlock the full tree. Never mind. Also, I have noticed that there is uranium on the map, but I don't have access to any of it, so more settlers go out. I didn't think we had enough cities. Aircraft carrier strikes. They're very fun. We're now hitting some of the inland cities that you wouldn't normally be able to get to without a very large army. The conquest, it continues. Big dust storm. Oh, that's painful. I'm actually going to keep on democracy just for a little bit because I do need the happiness from it. This conquest is just causing me a little bit of unhappiness, so I'll just hold off moving government for a second. Operation Ivy's finished. That's just something I'm getting to work with. And look, smart materials, we have found it. Fantastic. I'll line up a few builders then. We can use these to rush our space project accordingly. Smart materials, another spy is killed, and Halifax, one of Canada's better cities, has flipped to me, which means I can just instantaneously get a research lab in. It does follow my religion, but I can't pray it in, weirdly enough. Odd. Never mind. Exoplanet, 5 turns. Start boosting this with builders. Second Japanese city falls. Very nice indeed. Each builder charge gives 3% to the project, so this will be 12%. So we'll just keep throwing builders in over and over and over, using all of my gold to do that. It's a good use of economic potential. Speaking of, look, more of Japan has been conquered. I need another unit I'm conquering so quickly. So it is, another one taken. And now we have a listening post. So that's +6 combat strength against Japan. Goddard gives 20% extra production towards space projects. That's already taken a turn off. Lovely. If I get this airport and then change my government over, we can now go integrated space cell once again for some extra boost. That is if I actually finish the encampment, which I'll do next turn. Watch out for battleships. These things have air defenses. Air defenses are built to ruin your day and will do damage to your bombers as they strike. So try and avoid them when you can. Especially when there's 2 parked next to each other. Oh, yeah, I'd lose a lot of health flying in there. Don't think so. Let's bypass and attack somewhere else. Maybe somewhere my ally can take. Look at me being a team player. Oh. Look at all this. Seed. No, it's gonna keep taking. Take. This is a little bit of revenge for stealing my gold. A totally proportionate revenge for stealing gold, don't you think? Kyoto didn't have a full set of walls. I feel that's unfortunate because my bombers, well, they can only really be resisted by full sets of walls. Never mind. I'm sure it won't be a problem. Exoplanet Expedition. Okay, at this point, we now look to the fact that we have built spaceports in a lot of different cities, and we start to build terrestrial laser stations in every single city that has unlocked a spaceport, which is quite a few of them. Now, some of them may not be immediately useful. It might take a few turns for them to do anything, but that's okay. It all add together into something useful before the end. So 6 cities now making them. What I'm looking for is now an engineer that could rush, like for instance Korolev is a great idea. The game is now going to very much look after itself. You can use builders to rush these, but my advice, never rush a rocket site that is 1 turn away from finishing, because it won't work. It'll be really awkward and it'll cause the city to go into a power spike where it doesn't have enough power to work it, and it just all falls apart. Don't do it. You've been warned. Kyoto falls. Osaka also doesn't have walls, which really is bad news bears for it. We've taken quite a few of these cities in a very small amount of time. Yep, settling still to get uranium, a very, very handy asset. Terrestrial laser station. These will now start flying into the sky, hopefully a few a turn, and we will now push towards a victory. Very nice indeed. Future tech, we're going to repeat this several times. 5% production towards projects, including space projects, every time we use that. Just want to point out, I am buying flood barriers in conquered cities. If anything, I'm helping these cities out. They needed flood barriers. I arrived. Gifu taken. And we'll start to upgrade some jet bombers, because why not? Every turn, the stations go up and it speeds up and up and up. Oh, we lost the city. Oh, big whoops. It's always ever so slightly embarrassing when that happens, but we've got it back. Only a bit of population damage, nothing too bad. Another spy failure, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. The stations keep going up. Kandy is a city-state. So we're going to liberate it. All of my grievances will suddenly disappear. Not really. They won't. A lot more faith per turn now, which is nice. And Australia loves that. You see, look, that's what I was here for the whole time. Let nobody else tell you anything differently. Station, station, station. That's why we build so many. And that's Japan out of the game. I apologize. You're a cool Japan. But now I've taken all your cities. I've gained another 300-400 science per turn, which is exactly what I want. And to be honest, I could probably make all this land really like me just by adding some stadiums in now. We'll work on a water park as well. Just gonna fix all of this land. That's what we're gonna do. We're just here to fix it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects all in one go. 13 light years per turn. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. St. John, all the cities falling to me. How lovely. More, more, more. 16 light years per turn. Very good. Very good. And that, with Arabia, is my every click explained science guide for 2025 Civ 6. I really hope that it has helped. I hope you've taken something away from this video, especially because this start wasn't exactly favorable. We had a lot of early war, we had a lot of early squishing, but we managed to do it in the different phases of expansion and the different consolidation of science and the using the religion with a bit of a weird religious choice and Jesuit education. If you like this series, if you don't mind liking and commenting anything you think I've missed, any guides you want to see, all that engagement really helps with the algorithm. But let me just show you that I'm on Abraham Lincoln for score. Buildings constructed, that is the deity advantage. You can see it there, and it takes me 100 turns to overcome it, but we do. Cities captured at the end. That doesn't really change what is the most important graph. Cities founded. I got to 5 cities about the same time, and then I went, woo. You can kind of see the 3 phases of settling. 1, 2, and then 3. Initial resource capacity around your luxuries to get your economic capacity in touch with the AIs. Then the medieval Renaissance super expansion as your economy is backed up. Finally, strategic resource hunting towards the end of the game. Culture wasn't particularly great, but we were competitive towards the end. My science, however, we pushed it as we could, but we didn't take the lead until about 120 turns in. So I really did focus on economic capacity before anything else. Faith, very low. Very late religion, turn 120. Truly Arabian style. A few wonders towards the end of the game, but I didn't build any wonders at the start that weren't going to help me. Units killed, quite a few. Units lost, 2, and they were both scouts. Very defensive, and you can see the gold. This is why you can really take it to the AI. Not production, gold. You can see the jaggedness of my line that I'm earning way faster than the AI, and I get a lot more capacity. It helps me to build things. 1 city for Magnus, for settlers and production towards units. 1 with Pingala for your science, culture, and great people generation. A few cities to focus on internal trade routes, then moving later in the game to the better external trade routes. Allying everybody on the map to make sure that after the initial outrageous attack from France on my land, and then Georgia trying to get in on that secondly, we convert people into a safe and lovely land, working to get as many +4 campuses and as many 15 population cities as we can. Arabia is not that good a Civ. If you can pull it off with Arabia, you're doing very well. I'd advise having a look at some of my other guides. I've done a Korea guide. They are much better for science. Tokugawa is a fantastic Civ if you want to focus on internal trade routes, because they can actually be better than the external trade routes. They are wonderful. Trust me, 20 trade route Tokugawa would be a force of reckoning. But until next video, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye! And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Kliben Ferdas, Poppy Dude, The Nickerman, Mushkin Mandeltort, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Toon General, Kapoyobi Virani, The Uncivil Engineer, Radiatore, Debo91, Dan Jamo, Scott Stratton, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, El Truant, Creston, RB Hedge, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Mixomatosis, MTG Golfman, Indigenous 68, Teddy Zursa, Barnaby Rex, Charlie Bears, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Mean Penguin, Interplanet Janet, Frankincense Battlezord, Geography Teacher, Juvara, Morax, Sinikush, Echo Bear, Legally Trash, Sorted Dutch, Rad Bickley, Shadow of Gaia, Bob Tway, Abstract Fun, Slither Alley, JP Genius, Arctic Fox, Bookaluk79. Thank you everyone for your support. Goodbye!